But the journey to glacier. Okay, this was my highlight.
Hmm.
Going to Palmer, we took a detour.
Okay.
Kyunki, so my cousin and his wife, they came to Alaska 8 or 12 years ago, and they went to some hike which culminates with a lake on the top of a mountain. And that's what
Okay.
they remembered. Somewhere onto the way to Matanuska.
Hmm.
We searched for this hike and we couldn't find anything. And there was some Reddit post somewhere where someone mentioned that, oh, this was the lake close to this point. And it was just a detour. Like there was no sign, there was nothing. And so I'll share a picture, but the beauty to describe is when you go for an eye test, you look at a screen and then you see a small house on a mountain.
Yeah.
That is the place. That house is from there. Probably maybe from there. I mean, there's no
Probably can be from
research
there.
for that.
Oh, phenomenal.
Yeah. And there are multiple small hikes around it. There's no direction. You can just go and explore like things.
Okay.
So, but we are still looking for that hike, right? Which is on the top of the mountain. So we went on 3 different places to look for that hike. And they have this faint memory. And then on the 3rd place, we just started walking like, yes, this feels similar. ऊपर पहुंच के वो lake है. There's a beautiful lake at the top of the mountain. It's just all like with the reflection, it's all green and blue at the same time. That turquoise color.
Yeah.
And we sat for an hour. It was a tough hike. At one point it becomes really tough. But I think it's totally worth it.
Do you know what this hike is called? Some destinations are like a dream come true kinds. A dream sculpted by nature, where glaciers hold secrets waiting to be discovered. Ooh! We're taking you to one such place today. Welcome to our podcast, Misadventures of a Sneaker. I'm Revati here. Today's destination is what we see in several of the picture-perfect wallpapers. We're taking you guys to Alaska. Now, I've been wanting to go to Alaska since the last few years, and I'm so happy that we could have Pratik on our show today, taking us all around Alaska through his super real, vivid sounding descriptions of the place. By the way, researching for Alaska was great fun as well. The vlogs, blogs, and articles I read were amazing. So I'd like to add something before we jump into our podcast. We write a newsletter every week, and it's at misadventuresofasneaker.substack.com. Don't worry, the link will be in our show notes. So for this specific episode, we thought of making a photo newsletter. Pratik clicked some god-level pictures of his Alaskan vacation and shared those with us. And we really wanted all you guys to visually see the place as well as listen to Pratik talking about it. I guarantee you'll have crazy levels of FOMO when you do both together. So head over to misadventuresofasneaker.substack.com. And now jumping straight into the podcast. Hi, Pratik. Welcome to Misadventures of a Sneaker.
Thank you.
Oh, it's so great to have you on our podcast, Pratik. So for our listeners, I have known Pratik only, over the world of Zoom and WhatsApp, not really in person. So both of us have a common friend, and knowing Pratik, you will hear lots of stories about this common friend. But before that, so Pratik has been living in different cities and countries out of India for the last decade or so. Currently lives and works in Seattle. He's an engineer, a dog dad, a serial vacation planner, and a stand-up comic as well, right?
Yes.
It's awesome. It's awesome. So we always ask our guests to choose their favorite location or their favorite experience, and you have chosen Alaska, which is, it's in the bucket list of I don't know kitne log honge. My goodness. In fact, so I have always, बहुत time से obviously सबको जाने का मन है. And after you mentioned, I did a lot of Alaska vlog. Dekhna. Yeah, it is so beautiful. Oh my God. So I'm jealous that you actually made it.
Yeah, well, I think the plan just came to fruition by chance. I think there are so many beautiful places. So in my head, I thought Alaska is just one of the beautiful places.
Correct.
And one of the primary reasons for me to choose it was it's just 3-hour flight from where I live in US, which is Seattle. तो आई थॉट कि यार थोड़ा पास ही चलते हैं, क्यों लंबी फ्लाइट लेनी है.
At the end, your engineering laziness took the reason क्यों गए तुम. अबे कौन उठेगा यार, कौन जाएगा यार.
But luckily the place was just phenomenal. Like it's very different from any other experience or travel experience that I ever had. And we'll talk more about it, but I think just a
Yes.
phenomenal place where everyone should go.
Wow. So we haven't really properly met or spoken, but I've heard a lot of stories about you. We have a common friend, Mr. Anshul. And of course, मैंने तुम्हारे बारे में पूछा है उससे because he spoke so highly about you. कुछ भी अच्छा नहीं बोला है उसने. तो ज्यादा मैं तुम्हें खुद इंट्रोड्यूस नहीं कर पाऊंगी.
तो
But
कोई चांस नहीं अंशुल के मुंह से कुछ भी अच्छा निकलने का, क्योंकि the
I
things
will
that I've done
surprise
to
you.
him.
There are a few वो left-handed compliments बोलते हैं ना, but nevertheless they are compliments as well. Like he will start saying कि अच्छा बंदा है पर. So वो अच्छा बंदा है वाला the first part है ना, वो मैं तुमको सुना सकती हूँ.
Okay.
What I know about you is that you're a phenomenal storyteller and you can spin a story out of nothing at all. So I'm very much looking forward to the storytelling, spinning, side of you. And then of course you got the compliment of being a good stand-up comic. So you are trying stand-up comedy right now in the Seattle scene, and your jokes are good. Though a lot of it is around Anshul being the star of your show or whatever, the character of your show. But you got a compliment of being good at stand-up comedy as well. But of course, we have to talk of the bad parts as well, of course, right?
Of course, yeah. I mean,
तुम जिधर
balance is
जाते
very
हो
important.
balance is very important. In fact, this was it's highly imbalanced. Okay, अभी एक लाइन में इतने सारे आएंगे. So stories about how you are so accident prone. जिधर जाते हो कुछ ना कुछ हो जाता है. कॉलेज में कितने बार पिटाई हुई है तुम्हारी मुझे मालूम है.
ओहो.
So just see how much I know. रुको I can tell you more.
अच्छा, मतलब जरूरी नहीं है. It's okay. I mean, I think we can just go to Alaska.
The best intro is that you are the quota guy, the kind of guy who danced to ye kali kali aankhe wali gaane and all that. I said I love that. I'm also kali kali aankhe wali kinds only. I'm also small.
There's only one type of dance on Kali Kali Aankhein. There's no other dance that should be allowed to exist.
I can do step by step dance on that song. Step by step, correct hoga mera ekdam. So I know all these things about you.
Wow.
Wow, right? And everything is only 15 साल पहले की memory. So
हाँ.
in case you have gotten better in the last 15 years, I don't know about it at all.
I think I hit my peak with Anshul. है ना? And I think it was the right time. है ना?
Oh man.
क्योंकि Anshul being topper, मुझे ये समझ में आ गया कि अगर मुझे आईआईटी में पास होना है तो मुझे इस लड़के को दोस्त बनाना ही पड़ेगा. तो मैं हर एग्जाम में उसी ने मुझे पास कराया है. हम बहुत ही बदतमीज टाइप के लड़के भी थे, मतलब
I have no doubt about that. I have also heard stories of you losing his assignment. मेरा handwritten assignment था उसने खो दिया.
कुछ 22 पेज का असाइनमेंट था हैंड रिटन जो मैंने घुमाया.
Yes.
हाँ, good times.
Good times, yes. But tell me something, Pratik. Anshul keeps referring to you as puncture. So
yeah, we have a tradition in IT Madras ki matlab like the seniors in the initial interaction they'll ask you things and they'll try to trip you up, and if you get tripped on something then sort of like that becomes your name. Like for example, जैसे मेरा एक दोस्त था, उससे पूछा था कि आईआईटी की हिंदी में फुल फॉर्म बताओ. तो हाँ, तो इस भारतीय प्रौद्योगिकी संस्थान.
Oh my
तो
God.
गलती हो गया, उसने बोला भारतीय प्रौद्योगिकी शमशान. तो उसका नाम
उसका नाम शमशान पड़ गया.
उसका नाम शमशान पड़ गया.
Oh shit, भगवान, पूरा लाइव शमशान बनाते तुम लोग उसको.
हाँ. अच्छा, तुम्हें अंशुल का तो नाम ही नहीं पता, वो शायद पब्लिक फोरम पे बोलने वाला नाम भी नहीं है.
Oh man, oh man.
और एक बार मेरे मॉम डैड आए तो अब मैं उसी नाम से बुलाता था. मुझे अंशुल एकदम से लाइक डजंट रोल ऑन योर टंग. तो मेरे मॉम डैड आए, मैंने बोला मम्मी मेरा सबसे अच्छा दोस्त है, इसका नाम
XX.
अरे नाम भाई नाम बता. आंटी अंशुल नाम है मेरा. हाँ, तो मेरा नाम तो मतलब आई थिंक दे आस्क यू तुझे क्या पसंद है. मैंने बोला मुझे आई डोंट नो जीके पसंद है. क्यों बोला, मैंने को आज भी याद नहीं. तो आई थिंक दे स्टार्टेड आस्किंग मी व्हाट्स द कैपिटल ऑफ Honolulu or something like shit like that. Or and they asked like 50 questions. तो ऑब्वियसली लाइक एक का भी नहीं पता था, तो बोलते हैं तेरी हवा निकल गई, तू पंचर हो गया। मैंने कहा वेरी गुड। और मैं
Yeah.
बहुत खुश था, मैंने फट से वो नाम ले लिया, मैंने कहा कि हाँ हाँ दे दो दे दो।
I like the story of Shamshan, however. So Shamshan, if you're listening to this, तुम्हारा नाम रॉक करता है एकदम. Oh, I was expecting some more fancier story for puncture though. So now all your
हाँ आई
friends
नो।
know you as puncture.
हाँ टिपिकली मतलब नॉट लाइक
Hmm.
मोस्टली फ्रॉम माय आईटी डेज, और उसके बाद भी ये लोग जहाँ जहाँ मिले, जहाँ जहाँ इनके पाँव पड़े, तो तो यूएस में आई एम प्रतीक, आई थिंक इंडिया में तो इट हैज हाँ
So
बिकम
your
पंचर।
stand-up scene, do they know that you're puncture or they don't?
नो आई डोंट थिंक सो।
No.
That's good. That's a good set. I'll use it in a set.
Why
But it's
not?
yeah, let's not give it away.
Oh man, oh man. Okay. I heard that you've got a stand-up set that is named Unskilled Immigrants.
Oh, so that is a production company. Like one of my
Hmm.
friends has started, and he produces show under that banner. And he started this scene last year, and then we all came together, and we have this community of about 25 plus people now.
Hmm.
We all learn stand up from him, and then we also write sets and get notes from each other, feedback from each other, and then we perform in different shows or different capacity from I don't know, like 30 people to 100 people.
Wow,
Um,
100.
and then we have open mics and all those. So it's a very fun community. The
Hmm.
idea is to do stand up in Hindi because that's not a platform which is available to us over here in US.
Oh,
It's fun. As you said, like I like to create stories, and I feel reality is boring, and
yes.
but it doesn't need to be. You can always make it more spicy by bringing fiction. So in my head, there's always an alternate reality going on where I'm thinking about, oh, अगर इस scene के अंदर ऐसा मसाला होता है ना, तो so it's just that part of me that that comes out at maybe like one of the way it comes out is stand up. So my sets are also like very story centric, more like Busty style
Mhm.
versus where I take a story and you have heard one of the set, right? And Anshul
Yes,
is
and
one.
I really, really liked it.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
Anshul is one of the major character,
Yes,
obviously.
I
Because
noticed.
people love Anshul, and
Is he thrilled about you making him popular?
I think he's on fence. He's on fence. He knows कि story कभी भी किधर भी twist ले सकती है ना? So I think I was doing justice to him in the last one. तो हाँ, तो ये है stand up का. It's a very fun thing, but also a very hard thing. You once
Yeah.
you start doing it in a proper way, you feel so much more respect for the art. क्योंकि you being funny in life is doesn't directly correlate to you being a good stand-up.
Yeah.
It's there's a lot of like audience reading and tweaking and challenging yourself. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. बहुत pressure होता है यार to be funny, to make people laugh. I mean, otherwise, when you're just in a group doing something, it's different. You're
Right.
just picking
हाँ.
up from something. यहाँ पे तुम पूरा story बना रहे हो, you have to get a
हाँ.
punchline, you have to like get a call back, so
अरे
many
सब पता
things.
है यार. When are you doing your set then?
No, no,
I
no,
think
no, no,
your
no, no.
concepts आ रहे हैं.
कॉन्सेप्ट फंडे सारे थियोरेटिकली मैं ज्ञान मस्त बांट सकती हूँ. अरे आई लव स्टैंड अप यार, मैं बहुत जाती हूँ
अच्छा.
देखने के लिए. हाँ,
Who is your
आई गो.
favorite stand-up?
आई लव बिस्वा, मुझे बिस्वा बहुत पसंद है. आई फाइंड हिज सार्काज्म ना बहुत अच्छा लगता है मुझे, उसका सार्काज्म. बहुत सारे हैं. आई लाइक अनिर्बान दासगुप्ता.
हाँ समझ गया.
लॉट्स ऑफ देम.
You have good taste. हाँ.
ओ, क्या बात है. क्या बात है. Okay, so let me come back to more about you. So you've grown up in which part of India?
So I grew up in a small town, which is not so small now. Born and raised in Kota. Like it's a very
Dakota.
Dakota,
Oh, the
Dakota.
IIT
So
Kota.
IIT Kota. So it's a very different city now, obviously in the
Hmm.
last 10-15 years. But हाँ वो छोटे शहर में grow up करने का जो एक वो plus my whole family is from there. So I grew up among like I don't know 25 cousins in a city, in a small city where we all lived
Where
like
there is a
very close to
population
each
of
other.
50 people.
So yeah, I mean all of us were. तो छोटे शहर का जो वो है charm, I think it's just it's a very different charm. And also like growing up in a lower middle class family where resources are tight, but also so you interact with the city a lot because you don't have the resources to just have everything come to you. So you have to go out and get those things. So you interact with the surroundings a lot. So it's a तो बहुत ही fun था. मेरे पेरेंट्स बैंक में थे दोनों.
हम्म।
आई एम लकी कि उनको ट्रैवलिंग पसंद थी दोनों को। ठीक
ओह
है।
नाइस।
हाँ हाँ, तो बैंक में क्या होता है कि हर 4 साल में यू गेट LTC,
हम्म।
विच इज लाइक अ अलाउंस फॉर यू एंड योर फैमिली टू ट्रैवल।
या।
और वो मतलब हर 4 साल का हम लोग वेट करते थे। और तो दैट्स हाउ माई ट्रैवल स्टार्टेड। तो उसी तरह से हमने मतलब साउथ घूमा, ईस्ट घूमा, नॉर्थ घूमा, अंडमान निकोबार
वाओ।
वाज वन ऑफ आवर गो टू प्लेसेस वेयर वी वेंट 3 times.
वाओ।
Yeah, once we went Andaman, we decided that we don't want to go anywhere else in India, so we kept going back to Andaman over
क्या
and over
बात है
again.
यार।
अब प्लस महंगा होता था ना, तो बैंक देती थी। जो हमें खुद पे करना होता था, तो हम सिर्फ वैष्णो देवी जाते थे।
That's not that close either, right?
ट्रेन मिल जाती है ना, तो इट्स वेरी
Hmm.
चीप, यू डोंट नीड अ फ्लाइट, राइट? तो वो था,
That's
तो
true.
ट्रेन। हाँ,
Mm-hmm.
वहां पे धर्मशाला है, तो मतलब इट वाज अ वेरी। तो आई थिंक आई वेंट टू वैष्णो देवी like 6 times, which I thought like everybody would be going, why would you not? But then I realized people don't. But हाँ, तो I love Vaishno Devi, so it's my one of my favorite travel destination. It's like a
Seriously?
holistic travel experience if you think about it, right? It's a very, you hike,
Can
so
you
it's very,
please elaborate how is it a holistic travel experience?
so you get to travel like for, I don't know, 30 hours in a train. So there's this travel component which you enjoy, meeting new people in the train, and then it's a 14-kilometer hike, and then you get to ride horses over there or ponies over there, which you don't get to experience anywhere else. So वो भी एक अलग ही experience है लाइफ में। आप कहाँ वैसे घोड़े पे ऐसे तो मतलब यू, और मेरे मन में तो स्टोरी चल रहा है, तो मेरे मन में तो मैं तो प्रिंस बन चुका हूँ, है ना? तो और ये मेरी सल्तनत है, तो मैं अपनी सल्तनत में घूमने निकल गया हूँ, है ना?
I thought you were going to say like one of those Mexico में तुम cowboy हो horse के ऊपर yeah, चल रहा
नहीं
है
नहीं,
हाँ
अरे
चलो
वो तो
देसी देसी।
वो हाँ, मतलब ऐसे राजस्थान ऐसे ना, अपना अपनी सल्तनत चल रही है। ठीक है। और there's also the spiritual part of it, like you see a lot of like belief systems of people coming true over there, right?
Yeah.
And the thing which I experienced and which I really liked the most was the community part of it, जिसमें वो माता के जयकारे लगते हुए जब आप चलते हो,
Hmm.
हाँ, मतलब जोर से बोलो, हम भी बोले, तो वो जो पार्ट है वो कहीं नहीं मिलता यार से। लाइफ में कहाँ सड़क पे चिल्लाते हुए निकल रहे हो और मतलब एवरीबॉडी इज लाइक, हाँ हाँ, चिल्लाओ चिल्लाओ, मतलब।
Yeah, yeah,
तो
yeah.
एंड द
That's
फूड
true.
वाज
जोर से
अमेजिंग, आई
बोलो
थिंक द
जय
फूड
माता
वाज
दी सब चलता है। That's right.
राइट,
Hmm.
एंड द फूड वाज जस्ट फिनोमिनल ओवर देयर। आई मीन आई स्टिल रिमेम्बर वहां पे 2 मील मिलते थे स्टैंडर्ड, लाइक अलोंग द वे, राजमा चावल एंड छोला चावल, एंड बोथ वर
Hmm.
जस्ट फिनोमिनल मील, लाइक द टेस्ट ऑफ दोस, आई डोंट थिंक आई एवर हैड अ मील लाइक दैट. So that's why I said holistic. Like you have hike, you have food, you have travel, you have community, and then
You
you're
have
also
king-like feelings.
yeah, exactly. You're a prince of your own domain. So
And you have पीछे के horses, there are your
ha.
subjects following you and all that. Oh man, I have gone once to Vaishno Devi. I also had a great time, like बहुत ही अच्छा था. We did an overnight hike all the way up. So we started at sometime late evening, and all the way we did the 14 kilometers walking रात को.
Wow.
बहुत मजा आया था. And then we reached ऊपर. ऊपर में ऑफकोर्स भीड़ थी, तो आगे बढ़िए आगे बढ़िए आगे बढ़िए आगे बढ़िए आगे बढ़िए कर रहे थे. हाँ, it's a good experience, but like 6 times, I'm not sure.
हाँ, मतलब I think either that or you just go to a local park, across the street. So you pick.
Of course, वैष्णो देवी यार.
हाँ,
No
बस फिर
doubt
तो
about it. No doubt. कोई question नहीं है. Oh my God. So train travels, you have had a lot of train travels in your life?
यार, मुझे ऐसा लगता है लाइफ में बेस्ट लोग ट्रेन में मिलते हैं, है ना?
I've
वो
had
कहीं और
such
नहीं है।
friends, man.
हाँ, वो
Hmm.
कहीं नहीं है। सबसे ज्यादा एंटरटेनमेंट ट्रेन में होता है। मतलब आई डोंट थिंक कि मेरे पास उससे ज्यादा एंटरटेनिंग स्टोरीज कहीं होंगी। द रेंज ऑफ पीपल दैट यू मीट इन ट्रेन, there is no way you can meet them in real life, right? हमारी real life, like I feel we live in a very like a small bubble. It becomes like a bubble because you meet like very like-minded, more of you.
True.
And train is the only place where you are like, oh fuck, there's a whole world outside of me. मतलब
Yeah,
हाँ
I enjoy train
हाँ
travels. ट्रेन में बैठ के बकर तो कभी लेती हूँ मैं लोगों के साथ.
हाँ, तो नहीं, एक बार जैसे हम लोग ट्रेन में जा रहे थे, तो ऐसा होता है कोटा पे एक छोटा स्टेशन आता है वे ट्रेन ओनली स्टॉप फॉर लाइक अ मिनट. तो देयर पीपल स्टार्ट लाइनिंग अप फॉर दैट, लाइक सॉर्ट ऑफ लाइक दे नीड टू गेट रेडी. और वो स्टेशन आने से पहले एक ब्रिज आता है. When that you cross the bridge, then after 15 minutes the station comes. ठीक है. तो कॉन्फिडेंस की मेरे में बचपन से कोई कमी नहीं है. ठीक है? हाँ, तो वहां पे एक ब्रिज निकला और मैंने डिक्लेयर कर दिया कि ओ, कोटा आने वाला है 15 मिनट में। ठीक है। अच्छा, एक अंकल थे जो विच वाज वेरी नॉलेजेबल, ही वाज लाइक, अरे नहीं यार, कोटा यार, कोटा भी नहीं आएगा, है ना, अभी टाइम 1 घंटा है। तो मैंने बोला नहीं नहीं, आने वाला है 15 मिनट में। तो देयर वाज अ फैमिली विद 2 किड्स, दे आर नॉट गोइंग टू टेक दिस रिस्क, राइट? सो दे स्टार्टेड लाइनिंग अप, and there was this guy who became my friend, so he trusted me more. So like 6 of us started lining up, and then if there are 6 people, then everybody started lining up. Okay, so there's this line of 100 people, and then 15 minutes passes. I'm like, fuck, Kota is not coming.
मतलब 1 घंटा वैसे खड़े रह गए तुम लोग?
100 लोग लाइन लगा के।
एक भी गाली पड़ी तुमको कि नहीं पड़ी?
तो आई थिंक वो जो अंकल थे बच्चों वाले, वो बहुत धीरे से बोले, बेटा यार थोड़ा गलत बता देती हो तुम इन्फॉर्मेशन। अंकल सॉरी।
Oh man, oh man. So I've made
अच्छा।
friends. I have kept in touch with people. So I've had like really good kind of friends that I've made in on trains. So that time I was from Durgapur, which is off
हाँ,
Calcutta, and I was studying in Bangalore. So मेरा Bangalore to Durgapur वाला train journey
लंबा
हुआ
ट्रैवल,
करता
हाँ।
college में. Nice लंबा 36 hour train journey.
पर
Earlier it
मेरा
used
तो
to be a lot.
जो रोमांटिक स्टोरीज विद ट्रैवल है ना, ये मेरा मिथ, आई थिंक जब मैं 13-14 का था तभी बस हो गया था, क्योंकि हम लोग अंडमान गए एक बार। तो अंडमान में ऐसा था, हमें 3 फ्लाइट लेनी थी।
Teen flight.
हाँ, तो we took a flight from Udaipur to Mumbai, then Mumbai to Chennai, and then Chennai to Port Blair, and the same
Wow.
returning back, right? हम 4 लोग थे, ठीक है। प्लेन 3x3 का होता है, तो मम्मी पापा बहन को एक तरफ बैठाता था मैं, और दूसरी तरफ आइल पे मैं बैठता था, ये सोचते हुए कि कोई लड़की मिलेगी,
हाँ, of course, why not?
राइट? तो छह
Eternally
फ्लाइट
optimist.
हाँ, तो 6 फ्लाइट में जब वो निकला और जब वो डेटा मुझे मिला, तो मैं समझ गया कि ये मिथ है यार, ऐसे कोई नहीं मिलता, ठीक है। फिर मैंने कुछ 15 साल बाद ये स्टोरी अंशुल को बताई कि अंशुल, ऐसे ट्रैवल में कुछ नहीं मिलता यार। अंशुल बोलता कि तू कर ही गलत रहा था। मैंने कहा व्हाट डू यू मीन कि मैं गलत कर रहा था? कि तुझे मिडिल में बैठना चाहिए। मैंने कहा व्हाट डू यू मीन मिडिल में बैठना चाहिए? हाँ, तू आइल पे बैठेगा तो कुछ नहीं मिलेगा, मिडिल पे बैठेगा तो ही लड़की मिलेगी। मैंने कहा ये कैसे होता है? भाई अगर कोई लड़की आएगी तो वो मिडिल में थोड़ा बैठेगी, वो या तो आइल पे बैठेगी या विंडो पे बैठेगी। अब तो अगर आइल पे बैठा है तो वो विंडो पे बैठेगी, तो मिडिल में तो हमेशा लड़का मिलेगा।
Strategy.
मैंने अंशुल, हाउ आर यू स्टिल सिंगल? तो
He
ये बात
tried
तब
a
की।
lot as well. He must have tried the middle seat a lot.
He's a proud father now, so I'm keeping. But yeah, he had a very uh, strategic approach
Very
to
strategic. I'm quite
that,
proud
but
of that
that didn't yield anything. But which
detail.
didn't yield any. Yeah.
But what a thought process. Oh my God. So tell us, you had mentioned once in your that you had gotten lost in Vaishno Devi.
हाँ यार, तो I think one of the trip when I was a kid, I got lost. There's so much of crowd over there, and then once I got lost, and I think I was lost for maybe like a couple of hours,
Couple of hours. Oh, that's
couple of hours, and which I think leaves a trauma that you don't realize at that point of time that it leaves something inside you. So I was okay with traveling with the group, but I was not okay traveling alone. ठीक है, traveling started appealing to me like as an individual less. Like if someone is making a plan, I'll just jump onto the plan, but I'll not initiate, because somewhere I think that fear was there inside me, which I never thought about. And then I think I was pushed to make a plan, and I made a plan to Ladakh, and I realized, fuck, this is just phenomenal. I don't think I have ever seen a more. Leh Ladakh was the place that triggered that I need to change this inside me. And right after that, I moved to
gorgeous.
US. Yeah, and I think that was a great reason for me to push myself coming out of this zone of comfort. And then and right after that, I moved to US. So after that, I started planning more vacations, trips on my own. I realized that I love planning. Oh, I just love planning. That's the part of me.
Oh,
I had the detailed Excel of every day. I do planning कि 1 घंटे, and you drive here. तो एक
yeah,
दिन में
yeah.
मतलब I feel कि the maximum amount of drive you should have is 6 hours. If you have to, the ideal is 3.5. I have all these matrix in along using which
That's
I
so
plan the trip.
interesting.
And then where are we going to eat, like dinner, lunch, breakfast, everything. What are the hidden spots that we are going to see every single day? I have this planned itinerary. So I think In some of the trips, I don't think I've enjoyed the trip that much
Than
versus I
planning.
enjoyed the planning.
I love itinerary planning myself. I am like a huge itinerary person. मैं तो ऐसे ही अगर मैं कुछ नहीं है ना काम करने को तो I'll think of
हाँ,
one particular location and I'll build a detailed itinerary for that particular place. So I actually have a folder with called holiday where I have city by city Excel sheets where
वाह,
yeah. And to that extent कि I also do कि सुबह क्या कर सकते हैं शाम को क्या कर सकते हैं
वो चैट
सब
में
करके
लिंक डाल
रखते
दो यार ड्राइव का.
हैं. It's a paid service only,
ओह,
okay?
चाहिए.
Yeah,
I love
I
it.
really, really enjoy doing it. In my itinerary, I will have a day saying do nothing. So मैं उस दिन कुछ प्लान नहीं करूंगी, but that doesn't mean कि मैं पड़ी रहूंगी. I will get up
Right.
and walk and
हाँ,
chill or
that's amazing. I
yeah,
think I'll try that maybe on my next trip. Not do anything, like not have anything on a day,
yeah.
and
It's great fun.
I'll reach out to you with when I'm traveling in India, and or maybe whatever I'm planning, I'll just ping you and see if you have an
Yeah.
itinerary for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do that because I genuinely enjoy making an itinerary. And I'm sure that after this chat of ours today, I'll make an Excel itinerary for Alaska also.
Awesome, yeah.
Yes, great. Okay, so now we'll jump into
Alaska.
very
Let's do
excited.
Alaska.
Yes, let's do Alaska. Let's do Alaska. So tell me, so we'll start off with how you thought of Alaska. So you said the thinking of Alaska was Seattle से 3 घंटे का flight है.
हाँ. So
Most
I have.
uninspiring introduction.
So
Tell
I
me,
have
tell
this.
me.
I have a cousin in US,
Hmm.
and I'm very close to him. So he's like a brother to me, and वो मेरी भाभी like उसकी wife plus, and he has a kid. तो हम लोग पिछले I think 3 साल से हमने एक annual tradition बनाया कि we'll go for a vacation.
Oh, wow.
सबसे पहले I think हम लोग हवाई गए थे. उसके बाद अलास्का गए. Last year we went to North Michigan, which is itself like a very underrated hidden gem.
Oh,
Sort of
really?
and then this year we are going to Yellowstone, which is just a
Oh,
phenomenal national.
man.
So as part of that, we started thinking कहाँ चलना है. तो मैंने ऐसे खोला. मैंने कहा ऊपर अलास्का दिख रहा है. मैंने कहा भाई अलास्का चलें. तो बोलते हाँ अलास्का इज वेरी नाइस. वो दे हैव बीन टू अलास्का वंस. तो प्लान बना कि उनकी मेरी भाभी के पेरेंट्स आ रहे थे, लाइक माय ब्रदर्स इन लॉज. सो दे वर गोइंग टू बी देयर. एंड once we made this plan, I thought, yeah, I'll just call my parents from India too. तो वो लोग भी आ गए. तो then this plan became like a big family plan.
Lovely.
Yeah. So 8 लोग थे जिसमें like 7 adults and a kid, and we thought कि Alaska, let's do something different.
Yeah.
क्योंकि with Indian parents, availability of food is a huge challenge whenever you're planning something with them. You can't just find like Airbnbs across Alaska. It's not
Okay.
that
That
feasible,
easy.
right? तो आरवी कर लेते हैं. किचन लेके ही चल लेते हैं साथ में. तो
But
we did
8
an RV.
people in an RV?
हाँ, तो then we started researching क्योंकि RV trip, this was the first time we were taking an RV. तो क्या होता है? So there's a certain size beyond which you need a license, special license. So what is the biggest category for which you need license? And then we found one which fits 7 people.
Okay.
It was so much fun. I thought that it would be a very confining experience of having 8 people in that, but it was so much more fun. I think I would not do Alaska any other way now, having done that like in an RV.
It's like
तो
हम लोग बचपन में शादी में जाते थे ना, तो I still love
हाँ,
those times when all of us were in one room and
one
sleeping.
room.
आजकल ऐसे नहीं होता है. So this is
न,
very much like that.
वही था. हाँ, तो और पूरे टाइम तुम घूम रहे हो तो भी एक तरफ ताश चल रही है, लाइक पीपल आर प्लेइंग कार्ड्स. कहीं पे किसी ने चाय बना दी अगर कहीं पे साइड में लगा के, तो यू टेक पिट स्टॉप एंड देन यू ड्रिंक अ टी.
Oh goodness, so fun.
हाँ, देन आई लाइक बिकम सुपर एक्साइटेड कि यार अलास्का, और वो भी आर्मी में. तो वी मेड अ प्लान और we went to Alaska in August, which is the perfect weather. July, August is the summer time, and it's in the. तो जैसे यूएस है, यूएस के ऊपर कनाडा और कनाडा के ऊपर अलास्का है. तो अलास्का is a state of US which is not directly connected to US. There's no touch point between. हाँ. तो the history is कि अलास्का यूएस ने परचेज किया था रशिया से in 1867. और तब रशिया को लगता था इट्स जस्ट आइस, यहाँ पे कुछ नहीं है, ठीक है, तो उन्होंने बेच भी दिया. और बाद में रियलाइज किया कि भाई अलास्का इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट अबंडेंट landmass with the natural resources. तो अब वहां पे फाइट चल रही है, तो रशिया इज सेइंग कि भाई हमें नहीं बेचना, और अब चाइना भी आ गया वहां पे। चाइना भी बोल रहा है कि ऐसे तुम कोई भी चीज आपस में नहीं बांट सकते, तो मतलब इट्स बिकमिंग अ थिंग नाउ.
Russia, they sold it to US in like 1867, like what you said, and just like maybe 20 years something after that is when the whole gold rush happened. तो उनको बेचारे कैसे लगा होगा कि they have just like सस्ते में
Right.
निपट गए, वैसे हो गया almost.
Honestly, I feel for Russia, मतलब कि oh my
सच्ची
God.
में.
I think I felt from the other side when you buy something and then you realize, oh shit, ये तो सेल पे चल रहा है, and you have paid the full you have paid the full price. तो
yes, कट गई अलास्का की.
हाँ, और बहुत ही बड़ा है अलास्का साइज में, लाइक इट्स जस्ट ह्यूज, है ना. और वो यूएस के ईस्ट कोस्ट से वेस्ट कोस्ट तक नियरली पूरा इक्वली फैला हुआ है.
wow.
और तो यूएस में वेस्ट कोस्ट इज सॉर्ट ऑफ लाइक वार्मर, ईस्ट कोस्ट काफी ठंडा रहता है. तो और Alaska has two major cities, one on the west coast, one on the east coast. The major city on the west coast is Anchorage, and then on the east coast is Fairbanks.
Okay.
And I don't know if you have seen the new True Detective show on HBO. The new season is set in Alaska.
Oh.
तो वहां पे कुछ 6 महीना विंटर रहती है फेयरबैंक्स वाले एरिया में, उस
my
तरफ.
God.
But like that experience is also a very different experience, and probably one of my friend made a trip in December to Fairbanks, which is the night part of the Alaska, and which is frozen, and probably one of the trip in the future could be focused around that. But
so that's when you get to see the
right? Yeah.
Wow, the dancing northern lights, वो भी amazing experience होगा.
And that's so the Alaska, when we reached, the most surprising thing was कि इतनी सुंदर कोई place कैसे हो सकती है, like it's just
wow.
हाँ,
nature and nature. Oh.
और nature तो मुझे लगता है कि तुम point to point जाते हो, like you go to a point A which is really great, and then you enjoy, and then you travel to point B, and that point A to point B is fun, but it's not beautiful in a way जितना point A था या point B था. Alaska is always beautiful. तो जब तुम एयरपोर्ट से निकल के बाहर आते हो और तब तक वापस की फ्लाइट लेते हो, देयर इज एवरीथिंग व्हिच इज जस्ट सुप्रीमली ब्यूटीफुल.
मैन वाओ.
तो वो एक्सपीरियंस इज जस्ट वेरी amazing, and I think some sort of form or shape it's also very divine, where you have this nature constantly around you, and especially being in RV, क्योंकि RV, the way RV travel works is, so you take RV from a rental place, and then you drive, and then you park it at a campground. Campgrounds is just like a big, huge open space. They have a communal bathroom, but then you have all these like parking spots for RV, where you can park your RV, charge it, and then dump the sewage and everything to a place. And there's always like facility to have your bonfire. So we'll park, and then we'll start the fire, we'll sit around, and then माँ के हाथ का खाना ऐसे बिल्कुल नेचर के बीच में, and it's just clear skies, and you're drinking beer, and then food is just हाँ.
Can it be more perfect?
नहीं, हाँ, वही तो, you're constantly in nature, you're traveling in nature, you are hanging around in nature, so हाँ, वो बहुत ही ज्यादा.
Oh man, but tell me, how does an RV, मतलब as in how huge is this RV? Explain the insides of your RV, like क्या है अंदर interiors? I have never seen an RV so big.
तो RV में क्या था? There is a room, like a small room in the back end of the RV where 2 people can sleep. ठीक है. फिर उस रूम के बाहर छोटा सा एक बाथरूम है. फिर उसके आगे जाने पे लेफ्ट हैंड साइड पे किचन है, और राइट हैंड साइड पे एक डाइनिंग टेबल है.
Okay.
Which is a foldable dining table. So you can eat on this like a 4-seater dining table, but you can also use that table and arrange that dining table into a sleeping bed in the night, and 2 people can sleep on it.
So cool.
And then उसके और आगे चल रहे हैं, है ना? तो there is a place to sit, like a bench, which also turns into a bed for maybe one.
Okay.
And then you have the,
that's 2, 4, 6, 7. Okay, so seven beds, right, kinds.
And then you have this place where you drive. It's like a bus where the driving section is a little separate from the rest of the section. And उसकी जो rooftop है, उसकी rooftop पे भी एक bed fit हो जाता है. Not rooftop, जहाँ तुम drive कर रहे हो उसके ऊपर, ट्रक में नहीं होता, जैसे लोग ऊपर सो जाते हैं, वो थोड़ा सा निकल के जैसे
Like a
बस में जैसे
sunroof जो हल्का सा
हाँ
खुलता है and then you sleep over there.
नहीं
Sort of like
नहीं
that.
इट्स ऑल इनसाइड बट लाइक जैसे अपनी वो बस में जो अपर सीट होती है साइड अपर
Okay.
इनकी जो साइड अपर होती है फॉर एग्जांपल है ना तो
And that's significantly above your head.
you can't drive with that open so when you are sleeping you take that down and then you sleep on it हाँ so there's like हाँ
Oh.
couple of people can sleep over there
And
and there's a small
how
kitchen.
huge is it? Like when you were seeing it from outside, is it like size of an Indian truck?
I would say not an Indian truck for sure.
Hmm.
I would say maybe 1.5 times of the minibus that we have.
Okay.
It's a little tough to drive. You can't drive it over like maybe I don't know half the speed limit over here. It's tough to maneuver, so you need more experience to drive. But other than that, it's on straight roads. It's just speed.
And a lot of people do RV exploring of Alaska. So when you are in this one of these campsites, you do see a lot of co-travelers also there
Yeah.
camping there.
Oh, I think that's the culture which I don't know how much is in India now, but there are people here whose lives are just centered around traveling. So they work for 6 months and earn enough money to sustain. And then for the next 6 months, they take an RV and they live in RV and they cook in RV. And then, it's just very cheap. It's like $30 a night for a campground. And if you're leasing it for a long term, it's even cheaper. So it's very cheap in that way. So people, and then for 6 months, they will just be in a space for a month and then go to another city for a month and go to another place for a month and just live. And I don't think it's possible for me, like as an individual, with all the, like the way we live, but
I
I
think we
just
are
feel
wired
a lot of
differently.
jealousy. Huh. But
Yeah.
I feel there's,
I do.
yeah, I wish
Yeah,
I
I
could
would
do.
love to like go to a place and stay there. So I like this idea. I remember having one of my cousins who also in the US, and she said that her neighbor, they were retiring and they were planning to sell their house and buy an RV. And they were planning to go like this city to city, live there for a
Huh.
month, 6 months, whatever it is. It's like
और
this
आर
is so cool.
अलग अलग साइज की आती हैं. There are RVs which you can fit on your like on your vehicle at the top for two people. So there's just you can sleep in that RV and you can't cook anything, but you can sleep in the RV. So you don't
Okay.
need to rent anything. You can like that's how people save money on travel. But there are different sizes of RV, which makes it very convenient for like a small family to have one and just travel with it.
I like the concept, man. So
It's
currently there is a company that does this RV thing in India right now, but we
right.
can't drive the RV. They have a driver who brings the. So
Which
it's
is
really not fun.
not fun.
I
But
don't know.
but then you another person in the
And I do not know whether it will be really the kinds where you can live, or you have to go to a campsite and there they'll set up a tent and it's almost like मैं मिनी बस में जा रही हूँ यार कोई और ड्राइव कर रहा है मैं मिनी बस
सही
में
बात
बैठी
है.
हुई हूँ so I don't really know whether it's the same feels but I have never done an RV trip and it's always there in my bucket list कि मुझे कभी ना कभी एक
Right.
बार करना है but again I genuinely I've never driven such a big vehicle so I do not know whether I can maneuver it and do it but we'll not know
I
till
think
we
you
try
can.
so we should
Yeah, I think you can. It's not too different from driving a car.
Wow, nice. So where do you fly in? So now you're heading out of Seattle. Where do you fly in? What level of planning have you done for this entire trip?
हाँ तो अब आरवी में 8 लोग हैं है ना.
Hmm.
We have 3 elder people, one kid and और मेरी फैमिली में खाने का आई थिंक हर किसी की लाइफ का एक पर्पस होता है ना. मेरी फैमिली का पर्पस है लाइफ में खाना और
Fun.
खाना और खाना खिलाना दोनों.
Hmm.
It's a two-way, which is nice. Like
Hmm.
then it's like यार what are you giving back to the society? I think you're giving back to. तो उनको खाना खिलाने में भी उतना ही मजा आता है ना. और वैरायटी अच्छा ऐसा भी नहीं कि हम सेम खा लेंगे 5 दिन आदमी में तो ऐसा नहीं कि सुबह उठ के सब सैंडविच खा लेंगे. नहीं एक दिन सैंडविच खाएंगे एक दिन इडली खाएंगे एक दिन पोहा बनाएंगे. मैंने कहा ये तो ये ऐसे प्लान बना कि मैंने कहा ये प्लान बना तो रहे हो ये कैसे होगा मतलब ऐसे. तो फिर
और
उसके
पोहा के
बाद
ऊपर सेव भी होने का है क्या?
और 100% वो तो
अरे
कोटा से आए स्पेशल से घर से थे. और
Not any
आई
save.
हाँ मतलब कोटा के सेव है ना. तो अब उसके बाद शुरू करा कि भाई डिवाइड हुआ कि कुछ चीजें भाभी एंड फैमिली क्योंकि मेरा भाई लिव्स इन ऑन द ईस्ट कोस्ट आई लिव ऑन द वेस्ट कोस्ट तो वो
Okay.
बना रहे थे है ना. और कुछ मम्मी बना रही थी इधर. तो ऐसे ग्रेवीज बनाई गई हैं अलग अलग टाइप की. एक शाही ग्रेवी है एक मखनी ग्रेवी है और एक जस्ट सिंपल ग्रेवी
Shit.
है. और मसाले आ रहे हैं और दाल पैक हो रही है. मतलब यू कांट इवन इमेजिन कि जैसे मतलब आई थिंक 3 सूटकेस में से 1.5 सूटकेस तो सिर्फ खाने का ही था. है ना।
Daily we
और
have to have Rajasthani, what is it called?
दाल, तीन
Maharaja
सब्जी,
thali, Maharaja thali. Daily every meal is Maharaja thali.
जो डिलक्स थाली, डिलक्स प्रीमियम थाली टाइप की जो है
सीधे
ना।
deluxe, सब में deluxe.
तो बहुत ही, मैंने कहा कि यार आपको पता हुआ ठंड होगी, तो बोलते हाँ, तो रखेंगे कहाँ ये ठंड के कपड़े, शूज लाइक स्नो बूट्स और सब, हम नॉर्मल शूज में काम चला लेंगे पर खाना नहीं छोड़ेंगे, ठंड में मर जाओगे तो खाना नहीं
Priorities
खाएंगे,
are set.
नहीं पर खाना नहीं खाएंगे तो भी तो मर ही जाएंगे ना। मैंने कहा अरे तो
हाँ.
वैरायटी कम कर लो, कि नहीं 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 नहीं, वैरायटी के बिना थोड़ा ना खाते हैं। तो अब एयरपोर्ट पे क्या है कि यहाँ पे देखो थोड़ा तो वो है ही, देयर ऑलवेज सम सॉर्ट ऑफ अंडरलाइंग रेसिज्म दैट गोस थ्रू, यू नो। तीन देसी लोग ऐसा खाना भर के ले जा रहे हैं तो टीएसए वाले ने रोक लिया, उसने वो खोला, उसकी आंखें चमक गई, ये क्या कर क्या रहे हो तुम लोग इसमें। अब उसको समझ नहीं आ रहा है कि इसमें क्या ड्रग्स हैं और क्या खाना है उसको क्या पता
Variety, variety of gravies.
कि अचार नए टाइप का, उसको क्या पता अचार ही हमारा ड्रग है
Achar is my thing.
मतलब तो इतना कि हम पहुंचे, ठीक है। फिर अब आरवी में सामान का रखें, तो हमने ऐसे उसमें पूरा सामान जमाया, तो ऐसे सामान से भरा हुआ है ऊपर तक, ठीक है।
Oh my God.
तो if you want a snack, you just pile through the whole foods and then you find like
Do you have
whatever.
a picture of how you have stocked this?
I should have. I
You
need to look.
have to
I
send
think
this. We have to put it
yeah,
out, man. Yeah, it's too
insane मतलब।
funny, too funny.
और जो खाना खाया है मतलब, आप इमेजिन करो अलास्का में आप शाम में बैठ के मतलब ऐसे दाल रोटी, भिंडी की सब्जी,
Garma garam.
मतलब अच्छा गर्म मूवी एकदम, तो बहुत ही इंसेन। नाउ आई फील कि मतलब it just added to the experience. Initially I was not like I like to travel light and I was very sort of like even frustrated at point कि यार ये क्या चल रहा है, लेकिन बहुत मजा आया।
Initially skeptical, but
हाँ
बियर के साथ जब दाल मखनी खा रहे हो ना तो अलग माहौल. How perfect. Wonderful.
तो अब ऐसे हम एंकरेज पहुंचे, तो
Hmm. So you
एंकरेज
flew
पहुंच
into
के
Anchorage.
this is the one of the major airports,
Hmm.
right? So Anchorage and Fairbanks are the two major airports. So we started with the East Coast sort of,
Hmm.
and Anchorage से पहले हम लोग निकले Seward करके जगह,
Hmm.
which is sort of like south of Anchorage, and वहाँ पे so Alaska is a very popular cruise destination क्योंकि
Yeah,
there are a
yeah.
lot of glaciers around it, right? So Seward is one of the major port for that. Like all the cruises, they stop at Seward because from Seward there are boat tours that takes you on the ocean closer to the glacier. Like you are standing right in front of glacier. There's so much of wildlife over there.
Hmm.
So there's a national park called Kenai Fjords, which is the national park of like wildlife and glaciers and everything.
Yeah.
And बहुत ही इंसेन था यार वो। तो हम लोग पहुंचे, रुके रात में, अगले दिन क्यों ड्राइव करके पहुंचे,
Hmm.
और वेदर में उस दिन काफी प्रिडिक्शन था रेन का, तो
Okay.
the whole mountains were covered with clouds. There are clouds around you. You are driving in like in the clouds
Oh, that
when you're
looks magical also. That looks brilliant.
driving, and then we reached there. सुबह उठे तो देखा कि टूर्स कैंसिल हो रहे हैं, बोट टूर्स,
Oh.
क्योंकि सी बहुत चॉपी था with the weather conditions. Luckily जो हमारा टूर था that was the first tour they allowed, और बहुत ही इंसेन टूर यार। हम लोग गए and you can see like we saw all the glaciers and just insane amount of wildlife, and you can see global warming in play when you are around those glaciers.
Oh,
Like you,
really?
10 साल पहले जहाँ ग्लेशियर था, they have all these markers, like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 35 years ago, and they had the marker 15 years after, 10 years after, and just so sad
Ouch.
to see कि
That's harsh. Hmm.
हाँ,
Yeah,
तो
yeah. So
we
how
were,
long is this?
it's a 6 hour boat tour. It's a 4 day
Oh,
boat tour.
it's a long boat tour. Okay.
A
So
long
this is
boat tour.
like a ferry kind of a big boat,
It's a huge boat.
huge boat.
Not
Okay.
like a cruise boat, but like a, I don't know, maybe like
I know this
300,
is
200
one day
people maybe.
excursion kind
हाँ
of things. A
हाँ
big
हाँ।
one. Okay.
तो जाते टाइम तो वेदर ठीक था, ठीक है ना, इट वाज
Okay.
जस्ट फन। और वापस आते हुए वेदर बहुत खराब हो गया नाउ,
Oh.
तो मतलब बोट बिल्कुल ऐसे लाइक इट्स
Oh,
जस्ट,
it's like tumbling around.
हाँ। और फिर अचानक से डॉल्फिन, लोगों ने बोला भाई डॉल्फिन तैर रही है, तो लोग वो ऐसे हिलते हुए शिप में गिरते हुए, मतलब पकड़ पकड़ के। तो और मेरे मॉम डैड बहुत वो है मतलब ऐसे थ्रिल सीकर इस टाइप के, तो मम्मी ऐसे पकड़, मैंने कहा, मम्मी अरे डॉल्फिन में गिर जाओगी यार, क्या कर रही हो, बैठ जाओ, मैं फोटो ले आऊंगा वीडियो। तो वो हिलते हुए शिप में हम लोग जा रहे हैं, which was like, I don't know, like it was also dangerous but so much fun, you know.
So much fun, so much fun. Oh my God, you're seeing it for the first time, obviously.
Insane amount of wildlife, like the amount of sea lions that we saw, the amount of dolphins. So
Wow,
maybe
what else? So how close do you go to one of these fjord glacier things when you're on the boat tour?
or like you are like, I don't know, 50 feet away. Like wherever they can turn the boat up to, they can take you as close to the glacier.
Wow.
Just leaving the distance. There are
And this glacier
options.
is like blue in color ice kinds, no?
It's just pure blue. It's not white. It's pure blue. There are places where you can see the glacier falling. That sound it makes is just, it's very horrifying, to be honest. Like you can see like something is just falling on your head.
I've seen it only in
बहुत ही
videos. Like you can see the
हाँ
when they show global warming ना दिखाते ना
हाँ
एक bunch of ice falling into the water and then water splashing there. Wala, oh my God, you're seeing it live. Shit, wow.
और
Majestic.
there are options कि वहाँ पे around there are places where you can like different depending on the tour you can also do a night stay in one of those islands
Ooh.
around that and have हाँ तो वो सब भी options हैं depending on
Okay.
what you want, but लेकिन ये boat tour तो I think मतलब one of the key feature of Alaska that you need to do क्योंकि
How freezing is it when you're on the boat? And that too, you said you've gone in the warmer months of the season.
हाँ so I think inside it's much better. Obviously,
Okay.
inside it's room temperature.
Correct, correct.
Inside the cruise, at the boat, and then once you're on outside, I think the temperature is not too bad. Like maybe -5, -10.
Okay.
If you have the right amount of layering, you can survive.
Yeah.
But or you also keep going in and out.
True.
So you regulate the body temperature in that way. But it's definitely too like cold. You can't maybe I don't know like how much hike you can do probably in one of those islands.
Okay.
In a weather like when especially when it's raining and it's
That's true. That's true. Oh yeah, raining scene bhi to hai. What about birds? This is because this is a national park, so do you get to see a lot of birds and all that as well?
Yeah, I think there are people who like birds and उनको पता होता है एक bird. मैं सबको appreciate करता हूँ पर मुझे सारी bird एक जैसे
I know
appreciate करता हूँ.
6. I mean, I might know 6. I know crow, pigeon, dove.
Maybe eagle. हाँ, maybe America में
What
रहना
about
तो
eagle versus kite versus hawk? अलग
सब eagle है यार. सब eagle है.
Oh man, I'm also very very much like that. मैं हंस रही हूँ लेकिन मैं भी उसी
नहीं.
level.
So I'm not a bird person again, but so many different birds, and I think there are people specifically out there looking for birds, clicking their pictures. Unfortunately, I'm not one of them, so I can't share like what exactly are the species of birds that people come for, but
That's
it's a huge destination of.
You saw otters and you saw sea lions and all of that.
Yeah, and in quantity that I've never imagined I would ever see. Like
you
like,
hear them barking. Those sea lions
Oh,
they
yes.
bark like nuts, no?
It's like it's like a cricket song when you're like in a small city after the rain. You used to hear that cricket or maybe like the toad thing, the frog making that noise.
Yes.
It's just like you have put a speaker too close to those frogs. It's that sound. It's very irritating, but it's also very in that surrounding. Maybe it also feels nice.
Yeah, but I've heard that they are like insanely they bark, like they go crazy barking these sea lions. I think they call them bark only. I'm not sure. But
और depending on, I think वो mating season के time भी थोड़ा सा बढ़ जाता है उनका. That's also, but जो size है उनकी यार हमें जो if you see close like from up close जो उनकी size है or the way the society is versus seeing like in a zoo is a very different experience now.
True.
Really,
you see them swimming?
Swim like everything. They're like 500 thousands of like otters. Like they're doing everything. And some of them were just sunbathing in.
So cute. So sea otters, the otters in Alaska are one of the reasons why Russia actually, when they came into Alaska, when they bought whatever, took over Alaska or something, they came for the sake of the otters. So otters, the fur of an otter is supposed to be phenomenally awesome. It's very warm. And dusra, it's supposed to be waterproof.
It's like the Russian mink. They're looking for.
It's like that, yes. And so it was actually called, if I'm not mistaken, it was the soft gold rush of Alaska. Bulate hain. It was such a big deal, the otter fur. And that is the reason why, first of all, the Russians in whatever took over Alaska. Poor things, these otters were almost at the verge of extinction. And then जब और कुछ हो नहीं रहा था, so they gave up. And that's when the real gold rush happened. So इतना भी बुरा लगने की जरूरत नहीं है. It's okay. They made a lot of money with
हाँ
the
मतलब
otter fur.
right, हाँ.
So
But I think
that's a story.
I think I'm glad they made a national park to make sure that these species are protected. I think the US का जो national park वाला system is just phenomenal. I wish more countries can adopt it. You know, like in India, we have national park, but not at this scale. They are not managed at this scale. Obviously, there are money issues, but the way they have set up this in US is just phenomenal.
Yeah, I think
It
we're slowly moving towards it, but yeah, you are right.
हाँ,
We are way ahead.
right,
Facilities and
which is
everything.
fine.
Yeah.
Right, हाँ. Fair.
So where do you
Okay.
stay when you go for this Kenai Fjord, right? That is the name of the national park. So where do you stay when you're going for this?
Seward is the
Seward.
place.
Okay.
So you stay in Seward. There have a lot of like hotels and not a lot, but like obviously this tourist destination are not built to support like masses. Like it's built to support like few people at certain point of time. So there are hotels, restaurants everywhere, like a small city. It's called Seward. That's where you stay. That's where all the tours start from.
Lovely. Also, when does sunset happen?
Maybe like 8 in the night.
Because this is also the place where you have the midnight sun and all of it, right? Right. So the sun can set super late.
Mostly, it's mostly also on the Fairbanks side. Like the West Coast side is pretty standard in that way. Yeah.
So here it's like a normal day, maybe a little later sunset, but otherwise you at least have a normal day. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, lovely. Okay. So that was Seward. So Seward is the name of the US Secretary of State who thought of buying Alaska from Russia. When Alaska was a part of Russia, Mr. William Seward was the guy who engineered the whole idea of.
You're ready. यहाँ क्यों टाइम लगा रहे हैं यार अपन like book a ticket.
अरे यार तुम बोलोगे ना तो मैं कर नहीं लूंगी यार मुझे बहुत and really my next trip to the US will have Alaska in it.
You come to US, you go to 3 national park and 2 major cities, Vegas and New York, and then you're done.
Vegas, New York मेरा हो चुका है.
So 4 national parks and then you should also plan a fall trip on the East Coast. That is.
I have done fall trip on East Coast also. I have gone to Maine.
Okay.
To Maine गई हूँ. I've stayed in San Francisco for a couple of months.
अच्छा वो भी बहुत.
So I want to do Yosemite. I want to do Yellowstone. These 2 national parks I really want to do.
So add Banff to your list. It's in Canada.
It's awesome. It's awesome. So that's a couple of more things added to my US itinerary. So now let's take a quick break before we get back into talking about the next leg of your Alaska trip. Commercial break. Not really. We did let you know about our newsletter on Substack. However, we also want to let you know that we have now started a new service of curating travel itineraries, the destinations made just for you. So if you want to get a vacation planned, leave us a note on Instagram or a DM on our Substack page and we'll plan something specially for you. Also, if you enjoyed listening to our episode and would like to support our team by buying us a coffee, you can head over to our show notes and click on support to contribute any amount you like. It will be a huge morale booster for us. Thank you. Okay, so that was Seward.
Okay,
now,
day 2. So this was day 1.
Okay.
Actually, day 1 and day 2. Day 1 was like landing into Anchorage, coming to Seward, staying in the Seward. The day 2 was like doing the boat tour. The day 3 was driving to Denali. Now, Denali is one of the most popular national park. This is one of the biggest national park. It's the highest mountain in North America, but it's just huge. That national park is just huge. And what we were saying, like there are people who go and stay in national park, like in the wilderness. Concept of wilderness where anything where you don't have access through road is declared wilderness, and then people can apply to stay in the wilderness. Like there's specific program that sort of like register people if you want to go and spend time in wilderness, and then people take their camping gear in a bag and they just stay in
middle of nowhere.
Yeah, middle of nowhere for like months. They just come back for supplies and then they go back. It's just phenomenal. So Denali is again north of Anchorage, between Fairbanks and Anchorage. So we went south. So now we are going back north.
Okay.
And this was a 6-hour drive. So I think this day was completely dedicated to just having just going and reaching Denali. The highlight मतलब जो पूरा रास्ता है ना यार, वो तुम कहीं पे भी रुक जाओ and it's a point, and you can stay the night, you can spend the entire maybe 7 days stopping on the side of the road. That's how beautiful
Wow.
Alaska is. And उस दिन का highlight था Indian buffet, जो
Huh?
there's a place where we अगर जैसा कि मैंने बोला, मेरी फैमिली live and
Yes.
die to eat
खाते
and
पीते
to
घुराने के लोग हो तुम लोग. I love it.
तो इंडियन बुफे ढूंढ लिया गया. तो रास्ते में we had Indian buffet, and then so it's a very pretty straightforward highway, and then from middle there's different places you can go, and which we save for the later part of the trip. अब Denali National Park, तो उन्होंने they made a proper road which is probably maybe 1/3, which goes until 1/3 of the national park.
Okay.
That's it. And there are straight run buses, which is pretty cheap, like 10, 15, $20 per person. You need to reserve that. You need to get those tickets. And then those buses will take you. These people know how to spot the wildlife. They'll tell you about all these wildlife. And then you go there. I think it's a 4 to 6 hours of journey.
Oh, like 4 to 6 hour journey inside the national park.
The vehicles, your personal vehicles are not allowed. Nothing else is allowed. This is the only way you can travel Denali, other than like going on a backpack tour.
Got it.
और वो जो है, it's just like mountains and valleys. So sometimes you're on the mountain and then you're seeing the valley, and sometimes you're driving in the valley sort of, and then you're seeing those mountains around you. And there's so much of wildlife. We saw grizzly, couple of grizzlies, a lot of moose. I mean,
so when you see a grizzly, you're talking of when you're in your vehicle or when you're in that.
So your personal vehicles are not allowed, and you see grizzlies in the park, and where
in the park. Okay.
in the state bus, and it's not a special vehicle. It's just a small, like standard दिल्ली जो दिल्ली वाला जो लोकल बस होता है,
मिनी बस वाले में जा रहे हो.
बड़ा बस, जो प्रॉपर बड़ा बस होता है. You spot it from a distance, obviously, like,
and they are like huge ones.
हाँ यार, grizzly तो बहुत ही बड़ा होता है. मतलब I think मैंने Banff में I've seen black bears like from up close. There's so much of wildlife in Banff and Jasper. Like you park your car and there's a झुंड of bear walking around your car, and
how is
you're
that
just sitting
safe?
there. I think they've been living around human like now so much they don't do anything.
So it's like co-living हो गया है.
हाँ, तो बहुत ही, पर लेकिन grizzly versus black bear का जो size difference है, just हाँ, मतलब it's like a पूरा रूम का wall जितना बड़ा होता है grizzly. If he stands like,
wow, massive.
वो जो मूवी है ना अपना, वो लियोनार्डो डिकैप्रियो वाली जो फाइट है,
of course यार,
वही है वो, that's grizzly. That's very real depiction.
Wow.
But वो जो beauty है, मतलब every mountain is of different color. There's a brown, there's an orange one.
Oh, you went in fall.
हाँ August sort of fall ही था. हाँ, और नहीं, even the sand color, like the mount. हाँ, और I don't know यार, वो beauty describe भी कैसे करो? I don't think we have those words.
How do moose look like? I've only seen them in pictures.
अच्छा, yeah, moose. Let me think. A bigger deer with more horns.
How different are they from reindeers? Similar?
Reindeer के जो horns होते हैं वो थोड़े pointy होते हैं. इनके थोड़े से like more broad type के होते हैं. और तो here the wildlife doesn't interact with like the human population that much as it does in, let's say, Yellowstone or Banff, because since people travel by personal vehicle in those national parks, so there's a lot of motion, versus here there's a bus every 1 hour, so they don't like interact with human population that much. I think there's still a barrier between this, and there are cases where people go to wilderness and they never come back. There's a risk in that. Like, this is a true story. Where people go and then there's grizzly comes. You can take all the precautions. This is an accepted risk when you go on those.
Of course, we are staying in their territory, so naturally.
Or there are glaciers within those mountains, right? And there's in the summer you can see like water flowing through the valley. And you can go, so you can go and hike, like where the bus finally like drops you. You can just there's so much snow during the winter So when it melts, it leaves sort of like a desert behind it.
Okay. Mm.
So you have, I feel, all the terrains. You have mountains covered in forest. You have like just the forest. You also have a desert. You have water running through it. So you see every possible terrain, and there are ice, like snow-covered mountains. So you see all the terrains at once when you're there.
Spectacular.
So which is
Really?
all, maybe I think that's the special. What I feel special is like you're seeing everything at the same time.
Yeah. So it's like all सारा टिक मार्क हो गया यहाँ पे तो.
मतलब it's like a very, again, very holistic trip. just just like my Vaishno Devi trip.
क्या कंपैरिजन कर दिया तुमने यार. Oh my God. But Alaskan वैष्णो देवी तुम पहली इंसान हो गए जो कंपेयर किए हो. पहले इंसान. So you said that you have these streams that are formed from these glaciers and all that. Do you get to go really close to any of these?
You can like hike over to those places. ठीक है, but I think the challenge with us was कि with parents and kids, I think so there was two options. Either we could climb a mountain.
Oh.
So I think we chose to go up. क्योंकि क्योंकि parents were able to walk up on the slope versus like going down like some sort of stairs that they have made. So we went up. So the bus stopped. There was a curve around the mountain.
Okay.
And or either you can go to the valley. So this is the situation. So we decided to go around the mountain and see the other side, which was
wow.
oh my God. And then when you go there, there's again like huge valley, and then at the end of it, there's like lines of mountains surrounding that valley.
Do you see flowers here?
Yeah, there was so much of color. That's what I was saying. There's so much of color in those regions because there was like all these. It was a perfect season of right before the fall, and everything was blooming, and it was just like so colorful. Everything was so colorful.
Boss, honestly, fall season seems to be like the magical time to go here, yaar.
I think July, August is the time when everything in the US just becomes so much more beautiful.
And how many layers of clothes do you have to wear?
It was a warm day.
It was a warm day, okay.
It was a pretty warm day. I think I would say not free. I mean, maybe like 5, 10.
Okay. So like a thick jacket and things like that. Oh, lovely.
अच्छा, तो ये इन ट्रिप से मेरा वो था, मेरा एजेंडा ये था कि मैं जिस भी ट्रिप पे गया तो वहां पे everywhere I was doing my headstand. So I have this picture of doing headstand at every, like at the edge of the mountain and in Seward, like on the boat and everything. So this was my like
yeah, that's great, like a signature move. वैसे हो गया. Did you make a reel with all your
this picture? Yeah.
पिक्चर रील बना सकते हो, मुझे दे दो, मैं बना दूंगी.
अच्छा, ओके, हाँ तो ठीक, थैंक यू.
I have all the reel music. I'll make one reel for you.
Okay. ये काली काली आंखें बैकग्राउंड में.
How on? Legendary हो जाएगा फिर. Viral.
Yes.
Viral सीधा. So this is where your yoga guru skills came in. तुम्हारा headstand कर रहे हो and all that.
तो बहुत ही अच्छा ट्रिप था. Such beautiful. I think once you come back, it stays with you. And क्योंकि जो campground था, it was like not in the park, but the beauty is just stay in the park, right? It's always around you. So जो campground था, I think that was the most beautiful campground because again, it was in the valley. You're surrounded by mountain. It was a very clear night, and there was sort of like a, I don't know, 15% chance there could be an aurora at 3 a.m. in the night. So I put an alarm for 3 a.m. to watch that aurora. But before that itself, like sitting in that like around fire, having music and beer and homemade food in that scenery was
कुछ अलग level type.
कुछ अलग था मतलब. Because when I say divine, I think there's a lot of truth to that when you connect with nature, you heal. But you need to stay with nature. I don't think we stay with nature. We go on a trip, and then once we are back, you're just back to being within yourself versus being with the nature. Because right before that, I lost my dog. So I was going through a period of grief. But then when I was there, especially like after Denali, I felt like there's something which like that grief was leaving me.
Something therapeutic.
Therapeutic, like very.
Yeah.
So I think
the calmness and the whatever, something, there is something. Yeah.
So RV trips allow you to be connected with nature versus when you go back to hotel, you then again are back into the civilization. So that's why I recommend RV trip to as many places as you can.
Wow. So you're thinking the next one as well an RV? So Yellowstone and all of it.
Yellowstone is not like a very there are destinations which needs to be RV friendly, like
Okay.
Alaska is, because they don't have so many hotels over there. So and then the national or the state needs to have a lot of campgrounds around that.
Correct. True. Wow. So that night you sit in the Denali. What about so at night do you get to see the Milky Way and all, like that clear sky
I,
and all of it?
I was hoping that I would, but I don't think I didn't see that. I was waking, like I was trying to be awake till like maybe 11:30 when it's completely dark. But the sun was so bright, or the moon was so bright, I couldn't. There was.
Correct. So this is one time that I went on a trip to Jordan, and the desert there is so that's where the Martian movie was shot. So it's not
Right.
a mitti ka desert. It's a stone. It's a rocky desert. This is a place called Wadi Rum. That's a desert place. So you camp there, and so we had an option कि तुमको अगर कैंप करना तो करो, वरना तुम्हारे जो रूम्स पे तुम्हारा जो बिस्तर लगा हुआ है, you can bring it outside. They have like a stage kind of an area where all of us sit and eat and do
Oh wow.
campfire. You can just put your bistar, take your chadar, take your pillow, and just sleep there. But you have the risk of snakes coming. You have the risk of because you're in a desert. You're literally in the middle of a desert. They said they'll keep the campfire on all night, so lesser chances. But इसे ठीक है, चलो देखा जाएगा, कुछ होगा तो देखा जाएगा. हम लोग 3 जन थे, चलो 3 जन. We will try because so गए. And we kept an alarm for every 1 hour because they said for sure you will see the Milky Way. So 100% दिखेगा तुमको. तो हम लोग हर 1 घंटे उठ के बस. The best thing is you have to wake up, look up, and then we actually saw the Milky Way like move from one end to the other. तो एक हम लोग like 11 बजे का इधर था, 12 बजे इधर आया. Then at 1 o'clock it was on top of our head, at 2 o'clock it was on the right side of our head, and then it kept on going down. So we actually saw it move all the way like this. It was just something else. It was just something else.
Is there a season for this?
I do not know. So we went in the first week of June and we could see it. I do not know if there is any other season when you can versus you cannot. You'll have to check.
Because this is on my biggest to-do list that I have to see. Even more than Aurora, I want to see Milky Way first.
Yeah. It's really as spectacular. Photos में दिखता है ना, वैसे ही दिखता है. हाँ, वैसे ही दिखता है. So I've seen it once again. I saw it when I was in Spiti Valley and we saw it then as well. So Chandratal में रुके थे, we were camping there and we could see it there as well. It was freezing. रात को हम लोग 1 बजे उठ के अलार्म लगा के उठ के बाहर निकलने के लिए we had to wear all the 10 layers of clothes again. 3 पहन के बाहर निकलो, फिर वापस आके 3 उतारो. हमने कि राम, it had better be worth it, but it was really nice. It was absolutely clear. Yeah, it was very pretty. You'll see it.
Right. जाना ही है अब. मैंने ऐड कर लिया दोनों डेस्टिनेशन.
Hey, Jordan is like phenomenal. I highly recommend. But we'll talk about that some other time.
Right.
Okay, so this was Denali. So you camp. Where do you camp when you are in Denali National Park?
There's a campground outside of National Park, very
just
close
outside.
To it.
Okay.
So
what was the menu for tonight?
Veg biryani. I know it's with achar and kota namkeen.
सब कुछ लेके चले गए तुम लोग क्या?
और चाय उसके बाद to top it off. Oh my
God, fly. इसके बाद you can directly fly. You're in that kind of a zone. Best खाना in this ठंड वाला मौसम. Awesome, amazing. So that was a phenomenal Denali.
फिर हम गए उसके बाद, तो ये था Day 4. हाँ, अब Day 5 पे we started going south towards Anchorage again, and then in the middle there's a road that goes to east, and that's what we took. So we went east.
So you went southeast.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they're like very straight roads, so you have to go south and then you have to go east. And in the middle, there was a small town which have a very 1970s style, like downtown or like a small area where we hung out. And it was long drive again. So when you were driving back, there are all these different points where you can stop and you can look at, because Denali National Park, it just comprises of a lot of mountains, right? So there's all these viewpoints outside of National Park on the way. We were just stopping. There was this insane amount of mushrooms that I saw at one place. It was just like red colored, the way you see in the Mario,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the
With
mushrooms in the Mario.
dot on it.
I saw it. I know now what the where the inspiration came from. Those are real, and I
Are
saw
you
those.
serious?
Yeah, I'll share the picture with you. I saw those mushrooms. I don't know if I should have tried those, but I'm still curious if I might.
Please research before you do it. जानलेवा भी हो सकता है, but it is worth
बट मैं
researching.
क्या पता मैं मेरी साइज में बड़ा हो जाऊं मैं.
और क्या पता तुम फ्लाई भी करने लग जाओ, वो भी हो सकता. हैशटैग एम्स्टरडैम मशरूम्स. So it is worth trying. So please try
हाँ,
करके जाओ. Even if it is just for hashtag
राइट.
Amsterdam flying, it's worth it.
तो टोटली वो चीज जो है, आई एम लाइक व्हाट इज
I
हैपनिंग,
have
इज
never
समथिंग.
seen this.
Yeah, so much colorful. Like there's all these
Oh.
like blue ones, green ones, which
Oh, I've only seen like this whitish, brownish वाला
right.
color जो होता है. Oh my, colorful, so pretty.
हाँ, तो वो था. ये व्यू पॉइंट बहुत ही अच्छे थे, है ना.
Do you know the name of
Uh,
this small town that you said, this 1970s feels?
I'll look at.
Is it Palmer by any chance?
No,
Okay.
somewhere before Palmer. We stayed in Palmer.
Okay.
So it was somewhere in between. So there's so many different towns. You can stay in
Got
any,
it.
like you can stop at anywhere, and
Okay.
they had this small, like cute. US has a concept of downtown, right? So they have this very very cute downtown where you have like really good food and really good beer. Like local Alaska beers are also very famous.
Oh, really? Wow.
So you can have like very freshly brewed beers over there, along with great food. So much fun.
Would you get anything other than fries and pizza for a vegetarian? If I would stop at one of those diners or something over there.
There's sandwiches, there's salads
Okay.
that you get. Huh? Um, they also have Mexican restaurants, right? Which is
चलो
also,
Mexican है तो हो गया
हाँ,
बस.
Mexican तो हम भाई भाई हैं सब, तो वहाँ पे मिल
हाँ,
ही
सब
जाता
भाई
है.
भाई है.
हाँ.
Okay.
So there's a lot of food outside, but again, like most of our meals were inside, like
Got it.
yeah, in the RV. But तो
You
हम
even
लोग,
found an Indian buffet on the way, so then I'm sure.
तो अब हम वापस आ रहे थे, तो वापस हम इंडियन बुफे वाली प्लेस पर रुक गए.
फैमिली एंड फ्रेंड्स डिस्काउंट मिला क्या दूसरी बार के लिए?
बहुत ही स्पेशल ट्रीट मारे, वापस आ रहे.
हाउ स्वीट. वो पूरे पलटन लेके अंदर आ गए तुम लोग, तो ऑल द मोर विल बी एक्साइटेड. हाउ लवली. ओके.
तो ठीक है, हम पामर पहुंचे. तो पामर is a place where we stayed, but I think but the destination was Matanushka Glacier. It is one of the biggest glacier, and it's accessible by road. Most of the glaciers are not accessible by road. You have to like either like take a boat or something. But this glacier is accessible by road. And so glacier or जहाँ पे where you're on the road, there are ATV tours to drive you to a point which is very close to glacier, and then there are separate tours which you can take that will take you over the glaciers.
Okay.
So most of us have done that, like going on to the glacier tour before at different places. So we took the ATV, which took us to the glacier, and then we saw the glacier. Again, you could see how much it has drifted, in the last 35 years. And it's just very heartbreaking to see that those glaciers receding.
Yeah.
Right? But again, वो glacier यार, मतलब insane beauty है ना. आप वहाँ खड़े हो. Okay, हाँ. So this is very strange phenomena, like where the glacier was and now it's not there. But what it does, the glacier does to ground, it makes it spongy.
Oh.
It's spongy, so you can feel your feet going in, like, but it's not going inside the mud. It's like the ground going along with your feet inside just a little bit. So it's a very different, it's a very different experience of walking, where you're just like walking on like a mattress or something.
Okay, walking on a mattress. That's nice. So can you ride your ATV also on that kind of ground?
You can, but ATV can be driven on that. I think they were driving not to the whole area, but maybe like when reaching to that area. It's not it's like a 15 minutes drive, not a too big, but like in that's the way you can. Feels ATV feels तो आता है एकदम.
ATV feels तो आता है, मजा आता
तो
है.
ग्लेशियर देखा है ना, और काफी टाइम स्पेंड किया आराम से बैठ के. इट वाज वेरी चिली ओवर देयर ऑब्वियसली.
Yeah, so close to glacier, yeah. Do you
That's a very
touch
famous
the
glacier.
glacier? Are you that close?
Not from the point where we were, but you
Okay.
can then take tours to like that's the
Like you
glacier.
said. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Those are different kind of tours all through. Again, personal vehicles are not allowed.
Okay.
So you need to take a tour to go to these glaciers because they want to protect and not
That's
make it
really
to everyone. There are very specific limited companies that offer these tours. So it's easier to plan Alaska in a way because the options are not there are not too many options. So you can just,
makes
go
sense.
with the limited one. But the journey to glacier, okay, this was my, I think, highlight for me of the trip. Even everything what I have told you about Seward and Denali, going to Palmer, we took a detour.
Okay.
Kyunki, so my cousin and his wife, they came to Alaska maybe like 8 or 12 years ago, and they went to some hike which culminates with a lake on the top of a mountain, and that's what they remembered.
Wow.
And they remember it was somewhere onto the way to Matanuska. That's all they remembered. And there's so much beauty. You can like just think of it. There's so much beauty in Alaska that we searched for this hike and we couldn't find anything. And there was some Reddit post somewhere where someone mentioned that, oh, this was the lake close to this point in one of the Reddit posts. So we searched for that post and it was just a detour. Like there was no sign, there was nothing. And if you look for this, now I think they've realized they're building this place more. It's
As
called
a tourist place.
Main Historic State Park.
Okay.
So now but you'll see like 7 Google reviews at this point, right? And so I'll share a picture, but the beauty to describe is when you go for an eye test, they give you like you look at a screen and then you see a small house on a mountain.
Yeah.
That is the place. That house is from there. Probably it's maybe from there. I mean, there's no
probably can
I
be from
searched
there.
for that. Yeah.
So this is like one house in the middle of
sorry, but there was a town before which was set up at certain point of time to mine, and
that's why the Mine Independence Park thing, what we said.
Mine is Historic State Park, right?
Historic State Park. Wow.
There's a mine over there, so they still have those operations like leftover operations of failed tracks and everything, which you can
Gold mine.
Gold mine, yes.
Gold mine.
Gold mine. And so this is sort of like what they have built is a place where you can maybe go and eat something and like a small place. And there are multiple small hikes around it. There's no direction. You can just go and explore like things.
Okay.
So, but we are still looking for that hike, right? Which is on the top of the mountain. So we went on 3 different places to look for that hike.
You walk or you're taking your vehicle around?
No, we were walking now.
Okay.
So we walked to one place and they were like, no, this is not the hike. And we walked to the second place and like, no, this is not looking right. And they have this faint memory. And then on the third place, we just started walking like, yes, this feels similar. And then it's me, my brother, my bhabhi and हाँ बच्चा तो बच्चा बहुत ही प्यारा ठीक है ना बहुत ही प्यारा बच्चा वो बहुत ही समझदार and very high IQ kid है ना और बहुत ही adventurous ठीक है तो लोग ने हाइक किया पहले रास्ते में और ऊपर पहुंच के वो लेक है यार there's a beautiful lake at the top of the mountain like on the top of the mountain there's it's just all like with the reflection it's all green and blue at the same time that the turquoise color and we sat for an hour. It was a tough hike at one point it becomes really tough but I think it's totally worth it.
Do you know what this hike is called?
So you just go to Independent Main Historic State Park.
But then you said there are these multiple hikes there, no? Okay, search for the Reddit page now, people.
It's a hike with a lake on the top of the mountain.
With a lake on the top, yes. That's lovely. So then you get to see like reflection of the mountain in the lake and all that. So, oh man, oh God, this is gorgeous. और वहां पे तो घंटे घंटे ऐसे बैठ सकते हैं यार. I just love such places. You can just stare into nothing.
और वो mountain ऐसा है कि मतलब you're standing on a mountain, then you're surrounded by the mountain. There's a valley in front of you, so you're just on one of the mountain. You can see the valley, and then you're also surrounded by the mountain on all the sides. It's just a phenomenal view.
Gorgeous, my God.
बट वो जो पॉइंट है उसमें जो ब्यूटी है यार, मतलब वो when you see those mining operations, then you also realize कि हाँ मतलब लोग यहाँ आके रहते थे और
Yeah,
काम
yeah.
करते थे, like it's such a, you know,
Middle of nowhere.
middle of nowhere. There's still someone who took lease of that town.
Oh,
There's a family that lives there. They have a huge house and everything. They live in that place, like, you know, it's a private residence. Obviously, you can't trespass, but there's a family who lives there. There all these signs that don't
my
trespass.
God.
Private.
Oh my God. And they'll barely be seeing humans every day.
Huh.
What do they
So
do
I
with
know it's
this?
very hard to imagine a life
Yeah.
like that being in India. There are all these different way of living which people
Yeah.
pursue, which I don't know how to relate to or have any idea on how that works.
Yeah. For a short break, I don't mind, but then I don't think I can
हाँ,
live. I don't think I can live in such a place.
maybe I think
It
looks
looks
थोड़ा,
perfect.
हाँ समर में रहते हो 2-3 महीना फिर
Hmm.
चले जाते हो, I think these
हाँ,
are
like my
all,
summer
हाँ
house.
हाँ
I have a summer farmhouse. वैसे कर लेते हैं.
हाँ, और क्या, अचार
Oh.
नमकीन के साथ खाना खाना.
Oh, लो, अचार नमकीन भी आ गया summer house में. So what you're seeing in my wallpaper here, no? We had gone
हाँ
to
ये,
Kashmir earlier last year, okay? And so while we were going up the gondola, you looked on, you have these kind of huts. So these huts are वहाँ के जो shepherds, उनके huts है. So this is their summer home. So when as soon as it's summer, they come here, they do all their, you know, घास चराइing and all of those
right,
things. And winters they go back to their, like, you know, down
right,
to
हाँ
Srinagar or wherever they have to stay. So they also have these summer homes. So ऐसे भी तुम जैसे घर देखे हो ना वहाँ पे in
हाँ
near Palmer,
कश्मीर.
might just be
I
something like that.
मतलब I have never been to Kashmir. It's on my list now since it has opened up.
Yeah. You've been to
But
West Devi, is just so बाजू में है.
हाँ, पर लेकिन वो कभी सेफ नहीं था ना यार. It was
हाँ,
always,
that is true. That is true. That is
हाँ.
true.
But now
That
it's
is true.
finally opened up. I've
Yeah.
seen, like,
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of, you can now travel and it's easy
Yeah.
to travel.
Yeah.
But is it like as beautiful as people describe
Yeah,
it?
it's
अच्छा,
gorgeous. बहुत सुंदर है, बहुत सुंदर है. ये भी वैसी जगह है कि तुम रास्ते में जाते जाओगे, ये भी सुंदर है, ये भी सुंदर है, ये भी सुंदर है, ये भी सुंदर है, सब सुंदर ही है. Everything is beautiful. And it's just tourism. उसमें tourism के अलावा कुछ भी नहीं है. So they will worship
हाँ,
you. तुम आए हो तो
अच्छा,
तुम, you are the dude for that person. They will do anything for you. ऐसे
अच्छा.
हो जाता है. हाँ.
Okay,
बहुत ही अच्छे
hospitality भी
लोग
बहुत
हैं.
अच्छी है.
And you have like very nice places to stay. Like if you want to splurge, you have like the most expensive places and all that. अगर तुम्हें
अच्छा,
बहुत fancy
आ
करना
गया
है,
है.
yes.
That's awesome यार. Travel तो I really enjoy. I like to book travel. तो मैंने इस साल के अपने सारे ट्रैवल जैसे बुक करके रख दिए हैं. एक ट्रैवल बचा है बस, मेरा एक वीकेंड ओपन है which I'm planning to book. Maybe that's what I'm looking for. Alaska is the destination where I want to
Oh,
take my partner because she hasn't been there. So we want to go together.
how lovely.
So
Are you taking your dog along?
I think with the RV you can take a dog. That's also a good thing. You know, you can drive and you can have your dog. And people do that. Like they have.
I know. I've seen photos and videos and all of people who do it.
Right.
I think
And
it's
dogs are
awesome.
very curious about nature. Like when I took my dog for the first time in the nature, like when he saw like one of the national park around Washington, he was just mesmerized. He was just sitting there looking at that nature for such a long time. I was like,
So cute.
कितना नेचर फ्रेंडली लड़का है, मतलब ऐसे ऐसे ऑब्जर्व कर रहा है नेचर को.
What's your dog? What's his name?
So my partner has a dog. His name is Cookie. He's
Cookie.
a 90-pound dog. So he's a mix of golden retriever, Labrador, and a poodle. And he's the goofiest dog that I have seen. Like he's still, you know, this cute little puppy. But he's also one of the most intelligent person.
बहुत entertaining होता है. My God, हम लोग कहाँ से कहाँ चले गए देखो.
So let's back
Yes.
to
Let's get
Alaska.
back to, yes, Alaska, and you're talking about Palmer and that amazing,
हाँ, तो रास्ते
gorgeous
में आते
lake
हुए
that you saw.
मेरे मेरे नेफ्यू ने मुझे जो है ना लाइफ लेसन दे दिया. ठीक है, तो हम वापस आते हुए हमने फिर रेस शुरू करी, मैं और मेरा नेफ्यू भी कौन जल्दी पहुंचेगा.
है राम
ठीक है,
भगवान.
फिर एक पॉइंट पे हम लोगों ने डिसाइड किया कि हम दोनों थक गए तो हम वॉक करेंगे. ठीक है, तो क्योंकि वॉक करके जीतना है, ऐसा नहीं है कि तुम भाग सकते हो.
ओह अच्छा अच्छा, ओके ओके.
तो फिर वॉक करना शुरू किया. ठीक है, अब हाइक का एंड पॉइंट क्या होता है? देयर इज नो एंड पॉइंट, राइट? तो मैंने जो है थोड़ा सा गेम करके एंड पॉइंट डिफाइन अपने बाद में. यू नीड टू टच आरवी वर्सेस जस्ट कमिंग आउट ऑफ हाइक. तो वो मैंने जो है थोड़ा अनएथिकली चेंज कर दिया। तो उसने मुझे आकर के बैठाया कि चाचा आई वांट टू टॉक टू यू अबाउट समथिंग। मैंने कहा हाँ बोल चाचा, व्हाई डिड यू चीट मी
Oh, he understood.
and you change the boundary, you should not do that, it's not right. And he's 6. I'm like oh,
Wow, how
बहुत ही
did
प्यारा
he
वो
realize
यार।
that?
अरे वो
Oh
बहुत
my
समझदार है,
God.
he's phenomenal.
Very
And
cool, man. Very cool.
and he likes to like so you all and he likes to read a lot, so you always have to like he's always reading or you always have to read something. So in the RV there's always this component where someone is reading with him. And
How lovely.
yeah,
Very wholesome. Very
just like
wholesome. Just like Ash to Devi. हो गया. तुमने बोला नहीं, मैंने complete कर दिया.
yeah, tagline होनी चाहिए Alaska, just
Yeah.
like West
Just like Ash to Devi. ये episode का नाम होने वाला है भगवान. Oh man.
so
When you are like walking, hiking, do you see wildlife?
yeah, I don't think it's so huge that wildlife is I don't think it's concentrated in those parts which are accessible. I don't think they need to, because they have all these so Alaska is 80% of India's size with only
It's only one
7.5
state.
million people. It's one
Shit.
state, 80% of India's size, and the population is 7.5 lakh. सिर्फ 7.5 लाख लोग रहते हैं. So there's so much of landmass that the wildlife doesn't need to come to the areas where there's any human presence.
Yeah.
Number one. If you want to see the wildlife more, I think there are other destinations that I recommend, like Banff in Canada or Yellowstone. There's abundance of wildlife. I don't think I know people talk about wildlife in context of Alaska, but I would say Banff and Yellowstone are the ones where you get to experience a lot more.
Got it.
Just because the nature of how the state park is or national park is set up, there are no people. Like it's a very personal vacation. Even in the peak season, it feels like when we were obviously like in the main state park, there were 10 people around all that huge like mining area.
Wow,
On that
my
side. It was
God.
just 10-15 people. Mata Nushka Glacier, we were the only ones taking that to Seward. It was a boat full of people. Maybe probably that was the most crowded I have seen. But even in Denali, since the buses leaves and it's 40 people in a bus every hour, so you don't see people around. It feels like you're taking a very personal, your curated vacation for yourself.
Yes.
Without, yeah, but
Wow.
that's also a very unique experience.
Yeah.
So you can do things at your own pace. And the beauty doesn't stop at any point of time. You don't need to go to any specific place to find the beauty. Beauty is always around you.
Oh,
You're always in nature. There is no break where you are not getting connected to the nature around you. And that I think those three things make it super, super special. I feel like having a family obviously adds another dimension to it, which is indescribable. Like like not just sitting around and like playing cards, having tea,
family gossip.
फैमिली गॉसिप कि किसने हाँ मतलब मामा ने चाचा ने मौसी ने
Yes,
बुआ
very
ने
important,
है
very
ना
important. I
catching
enjoy all
up
that.
हाँ and then also having a kid, like I think that also makes it special because kid is seeing the world for the first time in a way, and then you'll understand like, oh wow, this is
The
how you
curious
can also
questions
see
that come out.
yeah. And because you're also tuned to see the world in a very specific way now. But when you start started seeing that, oh, he's seeing the world from a very different lens, and this is also a way to see, and can I change my perspective? That also pushes you to challenge yourself and your notions and your the things you live by.
Oh, you put it so well. That's so true, man. We do always have one preconceived thing when we go someplace, which they
Right.
don't, because they haven't formed their opinions yet. तो
Right.
उनके perspective सुन के अच्छा लगता है.
हाँ मतलब I feel it was a trip of my life which I didn't think I was super excited about when I started.
Yeah, so it went above and beyond तुम्हारे लिए तो.
And I didn't think it was going to be life changing, but it was, honestly. Leaving that grief away.
This trip was
I was
therapeutic
just
for yourself.
traveling, and then when I was because when I took the flight, I was like heavy hearted. And when I was taking the flight back, without doing anything consciously about it, I was like, there's something which has left me, like which was sitting on my chest, and I was feeling very light.
No, I'm
But
so
again,
happy.
but even after all of this, the best part was Kota King Namkeen and Achar. So I
I know what item.
highly recommend packing those two items, whenever you are traveling. Achar is our cocaine.
So please, TSA wale, please make sure that you allow every Indian to take the achar and cross. Okay, again, we are every time getting
हाँ
out from somewhere to somewhere, we are going off. Okay, so Palmer. So you have an ox farm, a reindeer farm, and all that in Palmer. Did you get to?
हाँ
Hmm.
we wanted to, but I
Okay.
don't think we got time. There's few things which I think I wish we could have done. But obviously, like there's all these different animal farms, which is fun, but also not very unique to just Alaska. You can find them anywhere. So
Got it.
so you have like even with the cities, but I'm pretty sure Alaska would have been like much beautiful, much larger. There's a lot of wildlife conservation centers, as you were saying before. We didn't get to see any of those again because of the time constraint.
Right.
Uh, there's a train that goes. This is the one
Yes.
thing which I want to do. There's a
Hmm.
train that goes from, I think, Palmer to Anchorage to Seward. There's this train, Alaska Railroad. So it starts from Fairbanks. It goes up to Anchorage and then even go down to the Seward. A lot of people who do the cruise, they also have, some of the crews have built this like in the part of their itinerary where people can like get down and enjoy something. But being on the train, it's a beautiful train. It's an amazing train journey that we couldn't do. I wish maybe next time we can include that. Fairbanks is one, obviously, which Fairbanks is again. So Denali is in the middle of, let's say, Anchorage and Fairbanks. So we drove 4 hours north of Anchorage to go to Denali, but then if you drive 4 hours more, you can even go to Fairbanks, and then and you can have the loop where you can come from the other side and then pass through Palmer and then go to Anchorage. Like
Got it.
you can also do a loop. It's a 6-day loop.
Okay.
And then some of the area is very, very into the wilderness. There's nothing over there. There's maybe probably like you need to pack your food and then drive and then find maybe another campground to sleep into. So that's another option which you can do. Fairbanks is the place for Northern Lights. I think that's what it is known for. Um, so this is the biggest destination because it's situated right under the Aurora Oval, and this is, I think, one of the best places you
Okay.
can view Aurora from.
Where are from?
But Fairbanks offer a lot of those like very wintry activity, like like sledge, like dog sledding, snowmobiling, ice fishing, which is very, very snow-centered activity. So if you are and people like, I don't know how many of us are snow people like who likes to be in snow, but a lot of people here like they crave to be in snow during the time. They love skiing. They love everything around. I have friends here now like who, if given a chance, they would live closer to a place like in the mountain where they can have access to snow at any point of time. Um, so Fairbanks is another
Gorgeous.
destination that is left for me to cover. So if someone wants to have a very unique experience, probably they can start with Fairbanks
Right.
and then go to Denali and then take the loop from Palmer back to Fairbanks. Or maybe start from, Fairbanks, go to Denali, go to Palmer, go to Anchorage, go to Seward, and take a flight back from Anchorage.
Oh, yeah, that will be
Yeah,
also nice.
right.
Yeah. Wow. So I have this friend, Divya. She also lives in the US. So they did Fairbanks, and one amazing thing that she said about two things about Fairbanks. One, there is a place called the Chena River. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Chena, uh,
Okay.
and that has a hot springs. So it's
Hmm.
it's just a couple of hours drive from Fairbanks. So again, like you said, it's a winter city that you're going. So in the middle of all that, you sit in the hot springs. It is a phenomenal experience.
Yeah.
So that is one that she certainly highly recommended, that if you are in Fairbanks, you definitely should experience this hot springs. And Divya, being an Indian, she also said that she got a phenomenally good Indian restaurant in Fairbanks.
I have no clue, like, who are these people? Like, like you come from India and then you decide, what, Alaska is the place I want to be. And that's such a big choice in life for
Even I
someone
think
to
so. It's a
take
big
it.
deal. It's a very big deal. जाओगे तो न्यूयॉर्क में रहोगे, सियाटल में रहोगे,
Huh.
सैन फ्रांसिस्को, अलास्का कौन जाके रहता है यार? It's like that.
I'll tell you something.
Okay.
So there's a lot of options of like having a hot tub, which is
Hmm.
so that's like your own personal like hot tub in the middle of snow. So you can take an Airbnb in the nature, and then it would have a hot tub like 7 out of 10 times.
Oh,
So, so this is also a very accessible thing. In like sitting in hot water around snow is a very, very common accessible thing.
no, and it's so
When
exotic
you're
sounding. I'm just loving it.
yeah, even it sounds exotic. It's like
Yeah.
available everywhere, sort of,
It's like for us, the idea of being in a wooden cottage with a fireplace in the middle of a snowy
Yeah,
area sounds so exotic, right?
but it's
And I'm
like sure, it's very common
very
there. Yeah,
common over there, right? Very common. So, I
yeah.
mean, so Divya mentioned that when they were in Anchorage, they stayed in one such place, which was 100-year-old wooden cottage. And it had a gorgeous fireplace. And as soon as she said fireplace, I said, "Oh my God, wow!" She's like, "अरे यार, ये तो बहुत normal है. Fireplace तो होगा ही होगा यहाँ पे ना."
हाँ,
I'm like, "अरे
मतलब
यार, awesome." I had to ask you one thing. As a queen, you're going to a place with like crazy glaciers and fjords and ice everywhere and all that. Did you ever have a drink where you can just take the ice from there and make your drink?
if you're like that's your passion area that I have to make a peg out of the glacier, then you can like take small ice, like put in a glass and have like some whiskey you are carrying along with you. Then you can do
Oh,
it.
like in a hip flask or something. Oh,
हाँ,
that will be so
exactly.
cool.
हाँ, that
I like your idea.
हाँ, but that's how you would do it. But I don't
Okay.
think there are like एक थड़ी लगी हुई है कि भैया ये बना के फटाक से पैक बना के दे दिया भैया ने.
वो अच्छा होता है. वैसे
हाँ,
होने चाहिए यार, हमारे जैसे चाय
होने
की दुकान
चाहिए.
होते हैं वैसे होने चाहिए. They have to
हर
do
यहाँ
enterprising like that.
यूएस में हर लड़का लाइफ में एक ना एक बार बिजनेस आइडिया सोचता है जिसमें वो चाय की थड़ी लगा रहा होता है और अपने मन में बहुत पैसा कमा रहा होता है. ठीक है.
Oh
और
God.
और आज तक एक भी चाय की थड़ी नहीं खुली है इतने बिजनेस आइडिया आने के बाद भी. तो आई डोंट थिंक
अरे होना चाहिए यार. I don't know क्यों नहीं हुआ है.
ग्लेशियर विस्की पैक जो आइडिया है, आई थिंक उसको टाइम लगेगा खुलने में.
Okay. I'll tell you a cute tidbit about Alaska. Do you know there's a town called North Pole, which is not too far from Seward? So the special thing about North Pole is, yes, it is very much like the Santa Claus North Pole. So there is a Santa Claus house there. It's a nice big house.
ओके.
Every street light in North Pole is shaped in the shape of a candy. So it's
ओके.
white and red stripes, and it's like the curve, like just like a candy kaise curve hota hai. And you have a proper Santa Claus house there, which is almost like a souvenir shop, but it's a big one.
Right.
365 days they celebrate Christmas in that town there.
Really?
Yeah. Isn't it
Wow.
so cute?
This is just phenomenal. I'm adding it to my itinerary right
Yes.
now.
Whenever you go, you can meet Santa Claus. Santa Claus looks like Santa Claus. You have a lot of reindeer there. So you'll actually think that this is a reindeer that is, taking Santa Claus.
Oh, it's close to Fairbanks, not Seward.
Oh, I'm sorry then. It's close to Fairbanks. It's
Right.
like it's just a stopover when so you can say I went to North Pole and met
Right.
Santa Claus and came. So if you go to that souvenir shop, you'll have letters from Santa, letters to Santa.
Oh, wow.
So you
Okay.
can send something for your nephew from there when you go, like a postcard from Santa actually coming. So the address is actually says that. So it says Santa Claus house, something North Pole, ऐसे कुछ है. Actual post box address वैसा है.
Okay.
So you should see this. So this is one. Second thing that I read or heard about Alaska is actually my friend Divya also mentioned this, that it's very common to see jets, like private jets or small jets rather, parked everywhere in Alaska because it's very difficult to access a lot of places by road. तो तुमको जैसे taxi, especially in Anchorage, she said she saw a lot of them in Anchorage, she saw a lot of them in Fairbanks. जैसे हम लोग के रिजॉर्ट्स में टैक्सीज पार्क्ड होते हैं, या हर रिजॉर्ट में एक छोटा सा एक प्राइवेट जेट पार्क्ड होगा, which very much they use for even ferrying their people around. It's very common. So कोई भी लेक के बाजू में कुछ 10 जेट्स पार्क्ड होंगे, कोई भी ऐसे एक पार्क होगा उसमें 5 जेट्स पार्क्ड होंगे. She said it is so common to see these small 5-seater, 10-seater, not even 10-seater, 5-seater, 7-seater kind of jets. It's almost like you're seeing taxis parked everywhere in these places.
I didn't know this. I think, because I didn't stay in any of the hotels or resorts, so probably I missed it. But I caught that in the True Detective series where they were bringing people through like planes when they need to. Now it makes sense. I was wondering about that when I was watching that show last night. And now it makes sense.
And it's not very expensive as well. So even if you want to take one of those glacier tours
Right.
in
Yeah.
those jets, they're not very expensive apparently.
Right.
Because it's so common. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
God, हम लोग यहाँ पे तो exotic होता है कि तो मैं
हाँ.
private jet में घूम के आ रही हूँ. इधर तो है लल्लू, it is like a taxi only, come on. तो कितने सारे चीजें कर सकते हैं.
हाँ.
And the last point that I read is because it's very, very remote, most of the places. So actually when like postmen have to deliver any letters or any packages, you can't reach the house. तो काफी जगह में तुम ऐसे चल रहे हो तो पूरे वो मेन रोड में you'll have post box after post box after post box after post boxes.
अच्छा, एक जगह लगा रखे हैं.
हाँ, एक जगह में सारे post boxes of that town रख देते हैं so that whoever is a postman person can just drop off everything right there and go. That's such a nice, thought to actually have.
Right.
So I really like these cute little tidbits that I read and heard and saw.
बहुत ही. I'm very excited now. You made me even more excited to book.
Right, so many more things to look out for. I know.
यार मतलब ये इंडिया है. इंडिया के बराबर का लैंड मास है. If you think about the scale of the place, right? So if you ask someone to tell you about India, I don't think anyone can cover that ever.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like you can keep going back to places. I don't think कि एक बार जाने से place खत्म हो जाती है. In my head, like I'm never done with the place if I visited once. Like this is how I feel.
Unless you go and live there like a year, even then it's like you will not.
तभी मतलब you have to live there to like feel the place.
Yeah. You are now तुमको travel का चस्का लग चुका है. Okay, so now you like going to a lot of places, exploring, even traveling by RV and all. So what are your retirement plans? What do you want to do?
I think we were having this conversation, like me and my partner together, that so the challenge with that is I don't have a place which I can call home now. US, I haven't felt any place like a home yet. So I need to find a place where I feel a home. In order to explore that, I know there's a couple of places that I want to go and stay for a bit more. Like one is Japan. I really love Japan. When I went there for a week, I don't think I knew how to travel at that point of time when I went to Japan, but Japan is one place where I want to go and stay for like a year or two to see that beauty, because that's one place which calls me. Another city, like just from a city perspective, I think there's one in Canada, which is Vancouver, which I really, really like. But I don't know, like I was there when I was there, I had a lot of friends with me at that point of time, but everybody has moved now. So I don't know how Vancouver would be for me when I go back again.
So true, so true. There's half of the thing is the charm of your company as well, right?
Right. So I don't think my retirement plan would, at this point, what I feel is would be less about like the place, but would be more about people. I'm more of a people person. But let's see if Japan changes that. I'm still open to that.
Wow.
What are your top 3 places that you have visited?
In India?
Anywhere.
Oh, wow.
Doesn't need to be ranked, but like just the top places that comes to your head.
So I'm a very water person. मुझे water activities बहुत पसंद है. So I loved Australia for that. So I did a lot of water activities in Australia. So snorkeling, scuba, waterfall, jumping in, swimming, सब किया मैंने. So I enjoyed Australia for that reason. अरे तो मैं categories में जवाब दूंगी. Water है तो Bali, sea है तो ये, snow है तो वो. So I love. We did Switzerland earlier this year. That was so very scenic. So Switzerland is extremely expensive, but it's, genuinely life में एक बार तो करना चाहिए. It's that beautiful. It's very beautiful.
मतलब Alps are very beautiful, like as a range.
Yeah, it's really very beautiful. So
my mom का भी favorite destination वही है Switzerland.
Yeah,
I think, but she has traveled a lot now, like internationally too. But like उनका favorite destination अभी भी Switzerland ही है.
I'm so happy listening about your parents loving travel, man. It's so cool.
हाँ, I think वो retirement के बाद भी they enjoy, they save money, and then बचपन में तो यही था ना कि you have to save money to make the next trip possible. It's not like आज उठे और चलते हैं जैसा हमारे साथ होता है.
They absolutely.
Yeah, we are not looking for money. We are looking for time. We are looking for those vacations.
Yes, absolutely.
Fit a vacation.
Correct.
Versus for them it was, okay, let's start saving for the next one. And then once this is done, let's start saving for the next one.
Which is also rare because not all parents
do that.
time traveled.
I'm very lucky and very glad that they have this thing together, because मुझे लगता है कि जो Indian middle class parents and they don't share a hobby together, है ना?
That's true.
मतलब
Their hobby was that kid. That's it.
हाँ, their hobby is the kid, their
Yeah.
job, and maybe their social circle. But then they also have this, oh, we like to travel. But I think in their head, that was how they connected to each other also, like building that activity together, like saving that money, and now, okay, let's plan a trip together. And I'm very glad कि now they are retired and मेरी पूरी फैमिली को घूमने का शौक है, तो अब लाइक
साथ में
गुजरात
जाते
जा
हैं।
रहेंगे, हाँ, केरला, गुजरात, अयोध्या जाने वाले हैं
अरे
अभी।
बाप रे, जय श्री,
अयोध्या
अरे तुम्हारा
नंबर
वो
1 टूरिस्ट डेस्टिनेशन है, मतलब अब नया होलिस्टिक ट्रिप जो है वो अयोध्या होगा।
ओह मैन, वैसे जस्ट लाइक तुम ना जय माता दी, यहाँ पे भी वैसे जय श्री राम करते
हाँ,
जाएंगे,
तो
सेम।
मतलब है ना, आई थिंक दे आर स्टिल परसुइंग दैट एंड दैट्स आई रियली
It's awesome.
appreciate that.
It's awesome. Do they sit go on buses and do A B C D E F G H I वैसे टाइप? वो पूरा सह परिवार एक बस हो जाता है ना,
सब
वैसे।
परिवार वैसे ही जाते हैं वो लोग। हाँ हाँ, अभी
It's
मतलब तो
fun man, it's really fun. कुछ भी हम लोग हाहा ही कर रहे हैं, it is, I love it.
नहीं नहीं,
पूरे
आई
cousins मिलके जो जाना है ना, awesome fun.
it's very easy to just save for the future versus like making that call that, you know what, future is always going to be there, but right now it's present and it's important to live in the present.
ओह, ये मैं तुम्हारा ओपनिंग सेंटेंस डाल दूंगी, ठीक है? It's awesome.
Appreciate that.
It's awesome.
Yeah, Alaska में, and again, there's one. These are just the popular places, right? Because in a week you tend to focus on the things that are more. But there are, when I was looking there, when I was researching, there are so many small hikes, all just like scattered across Alaska.
So get
Even if
lost.
you, yeah, even if you just go to Anchorage and maybe just stay around that area for like 7 days, you have enough things to do. Even though we went a lot of, like, we did a lot of driving and traveling, but if people have, like, they don't want to do that, they can, and they just want to be at one place, maybe it's Denali or Seward or Palmer, anywhere, like there's so much stuff that you can easily spend a week over there.
Absolutely, yeah. Sounded like that the way you were talking about. Even that one little Palmer, the hike that you went from there, you had so many options. Right. Just that one little place. Yeah.
You can spend like 2 days at that place. There's so many of them, and there was hundreds of places which I, like, I wish that we could have stopped and spend an hour or like an over there. But again, we were on a schedule, so we couldn't.
True. So you don't live far away, man. So you can just
hop,
skip and jump and,
exactly.
And just reach there.
Yeah. Maybe that's another reason for me to stay in Seattle.
Yeah.
To Alaska.
Absolutely. Yeah. Or some suburb or something, but just stay put for a few more years. Wonderful. So I had a great time talking about Alaska, man. This is like, oh my God, मेरे को हर जगह के बारे में बात करके मैं बोलूंगा, अरे मेरे को जाना है यहाँ पे, जाना है यहाँ पे. But Alaska is one place where I.
तो जाना ही चाहिए. यार मुझे ऐसा लगता है, जैसे मैंने बताया था ना, बचपन में my family found Andaman Nicobar at that destination, which became our like to go destination. Every 2 years we were going there, and just Andaman Nicobar, and we were happy going to one place, right? We were okay not exploring anything else. I think Alaska is could be one of those places for a lot of people where they're just happy to go to Alaska every year and then just not go anywhere else, because everything that you want, that you look forward from a travel, is available there. So I would say it's a very, very worthy investment that you can make and you should make.
Also holistic like Vaishno Devi.
Holistic like Vaishno Devi. Oh my God. And
comeback, dekha mera comeback. Crack मार दिया मैंने holistic like Vaishno Devi बोल के. Beautiful, wonderful. This was so much fun. I had a great conversation with you, Pratik. तो बड़ा मजा आ गया. Thank you so much for.
हाँ.
Make the itinerary for the next trip.
बस आज ही बन गई, अभी मैं बुक कर रहा हूँ.
आज ही बन गई. So
thank you for the opportunity. And I think talking to you about travel again brought so much more memory that I want to commit myself to doing it more. So thank you for this.
Oh my God, most welcome. I'm looking forward to your next one so that we can call you back for Yellowstone and for many more, and travel with your dog and all of that. We'll call you back.
Yeah. Sounds
Look
like
forward
that.
to that. Look forward to that. Right. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Well, I hope you had as much of an amazing time and a great visual vacation as we did through all of Alaska. You can follow Pratik Gupta on Instagram and on LinkedIn. He is Pratik Pratik Gupta. And you can follow us as well on Instagram at Misadventures of a Sneaker. We will put all these links in our show notes. Also, if you enjoyed listening to this episode and you would like to support our team by buying us a coffee, please head over to our show notes and click on support to contribute any amount you like. We'll be so thrilled. Thank you.